Good afternoon. Welcome to the Evesports EGL 1 2020 lower bracket round 2 game between Ekasi Esports and Royalty. I would have been joined by Matt today, but unfortunately South African internet things has happened to our dearest Hayes, so I will be doing a solo cast for you guys this evening. And the veto has happened in the interim. So the knife was first won by Royalty. They then decided to ban Overpass, and then there was a ban of Dust 2 by Ekasi, and then the first pick in our first map is going to be Inferno, and then a really nice pick actually I think by Ekasi for Train. They actually showed a really dominant performance against Omnius Anarchy, where they did a 16-3 against them. So yeah, they're very, very strong on Train. And then potentially our last map will be Nuke. So I'm thinking that this might actually go to 2 or 3 maps. There's actually a bit of a debate in amongst the admin team as to where this is all going to land. But before we get to that, let's have a look at our player base for this, shall we? So on Royalty's side, we have Leggy, Doobie, God's Not Dead, Donkey, and EXE. Your sort of standout players there. Generally, EXE has had the highest or best averages amongst the maps and best overall performances, followed closely by Leggy, who's their main AWPer, and then God's Not Dead is the EGL, but he had actually quite a big game against DNMK where he hit a 35 bomb in a 19-16 overtime match. And then on the other side, on Ekasi's end, this is actually quite a fresh roster. We have seen them play once where they brought in Lichlord, who had recently left Energy, and he's now become their EGL. Their players, their notable players at least, are guys like DMS and Gemini and Badger, who should be generally their best fraggers. But for this Inferno game, I'm leaning a little bit towards Royalty just because it's such a specialist map for them. Every time they played it, even when they played it against top teams in South Africa, they've done really, really well. Even when they have lost, it's been very close, like 16-13. So Ekasi with a lot to play for here. But for all you guys in the viewing space, we will be doing 2 giveaways on stream today, where we will be doing a 250 Rand Steam gift voucher, which I will initiate somewhere towards the end of the first map, and then towards the end of the second map we will do a giveaway for the EveTech Neo backpack, which is worth like 800 bucks. So very nice giveaways, and some good action should be coming our way in the next few minutes. We do also have another major planned giveaway which will be coming up in the future, which I can't give you guys any more details on right now, and I'm really sorry about that. But at least we will have what we have for tonight, and the players are looking quite prepped and ready at this point in time. We're just sitting in the warm-up phase at the moment. I think we'll be kicking off in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, it's been a very interesting time in the EGL 1 tournament so far, and both of these teams up until this point have actually only really lost 1 game, but both of them simultaneously now are actually fighting for their tournament lives. And after this, they get very, very close to the money. After this round, they are going to be inside the top 8 teams. So if they can just push through this lower bracket and get into that next round, then they're literally on the cusp, because the top 5 finishers are going to go home with prize money. I'm just going to do a little production check to check what our already status is with the game, and when we're going live, we've got about 2 minutes left for you guys where we will be kicking things off. And as I said, this is a new setup from Ekasi. They recently acquired Lichlord, which is quite a nice acquisition for them, all things considered. He's got a lot of experience, he's been in a couple notable teams, and he's just come out of Energy, which was a top 4, top 5 team at the time. So he's got a lot of experience that he's bringing into the squadron, which is going to help aid or direct their firing power, as it were, in the right sort of direction. And then on Royalty's side, they've been on the grind and become an up-and-coming team, and they've cemented their 7th, 8th place sort of spot. So if I would say overall, though, if Ekasi do win, it would be a little bit of an upset. They are somewhat an underdog team, especially because they're in that honeymoon period, while Royalty is more established and they've been together as a squad throughout this tournament and even prior to that for quite some time. EXE as well, really, really good player. Like, he's so consistently solid. I don't think I've seen him actually have a bad game. And you put an AWP in Leggy's hands, and some really nasty 338 Lapoa things do start to happen. So it's such a big game for both of these guys, and I think this is going to be the test of teamwork, if anything. At the end of the day, individual performances always help you out, but where support and teamwork and that sort of stuff is considered, that's going to be the name of the game on this one. So I gotta say, Lichtlord also has quite a nice knife, just on a cosmetic side note. So we'll have to see if it's your skins are gonna work. Freakazoid would disagree with me heavily on that one. If you guys have watched a Super Situm video ever, then you'll know about it. But if you haven't, then you really need to go and check out Super Situm. He's got pretty much the best videos you can get for CS at this day and age. But our guys are starting to ready up. Does look like they are just about to get into the server. Okay, cool. It looks like Ekasi's ready. Looks like Royalty's nearly there, just waiting on one. That looks of things, and the match is live. Now we kick off with map 1 Inferno, going into the pistol round. I think there's going to be some interesting util buys from both teams. Let's see where the chips lie. I'd like to see a kit at least on Ekasi's side. None of this full armor buying shenanigans. So DMS is actually going to go heavy util. Lichtlord gets himself a nade and a kit, so they do have a kit. And then on the side of Royalty, we've got 3 flashes and 2 smokes. So it's going to bode well for their ability to entry and set up onto sites. We've got DMS and Lichtlord over towards the B site, and there's going to be Badger, Gemini, and who else are going to be the A team, as it were. See if they can Mr. T it and tee up the T's, and the T's are going to start slowly taking banana control. Nobody's going to be there on the angle when they do search for kills here. But they are quite committed to B, and it looks like it's going to be a contact play. Lichtlord should be the first responder over here. DMS is quite far back in the coffins. If he gets smoked off here, he's going to not really be able to assist Lichtlord when the push does come through. There's some info gathering happening in mid, but it seems they're committing to B. Here comes the util. Smoke is out. Lichtlord decides to stand in the smoke and start tapping away, but he gets hit by Donkey through the smoke. He gets taken down. So now it's just DMS on the side. He does have some util, but no, they actually fake and they go towards A. This is brilliant. Who else does manage to get a kill? But God's Not Dead picks up 2. Who else in Gemini are taken down? And they're going to secure the A bomb site. And they still have to worry about B. DMS does collect a kit, which will help them with their retake. It does give them an extra 5 seconds to play with, but Badger's going to start pushing in here solo, and nobody on Ekasi is peeking. They're just biding their time, waiting for it, which is really smart from them. They've got the objective now, and Leggy's going to stand up, and he's going to get one. He's going to go for the second, and he taps away, and he gets the second. So really nice opening round from Royalty. They only lose 1 player, which is going to bode well for their economy, but we are going to go into a pause quickly. I'm not actually sure as to the reason. Maybe we can have admin just check there for us, because they haven't actually put a tech. Okay, Leggy's on a tech pause, so he just needs a moment to fix his stuff up. But opening round, really nicely done from Royalty. The bait and switch worked perfectly. They push up into the Bri area, sell the B push, and the guys on A sort of become lackadaisical. In that moment, Ekasi gets their head ripped off pretty much. Who else? The only one picking up a kill and doing almost basically the only damage. Gemini chipped in for 15, so not a lot of impact there, but the next round sees them going with a full save, which is preferable. They're going to hold W down middle into the T's, and they're going to go into second mid now, but EXE is not having it, and he gets a 3k. Doobie picks up one of his own. Doobie gets a second. EXE with that 3k, just stacking up their money on that Mac 10, means that he's going to have 5k as they go into the next round now, and Ekasi can't quite buy properly, so they're probably going to do a double save here, maybe a little deco, which seems to be their next plan, is to get head armor and pistols, buy up to about just over 2,000. You want about 2,500 in the bank as you come through with that full, which should be a full loss bonus. You get a double loss bonus on the first round, so they will have at least a 3-round loss bonus as they go into the next one, which will then allow them to buy. But Royalty right now in the driving seat, but look at them pushing into apps over here. Badger gets himself a 2k. No, it's who else and Badger who pick up 2 kills, but there are 3 players towards B and just 1 on the site in the form of Lichlord, who's sort of playing the lurking position. And surely Ekasi, with this amount of information, has to start realizing that these guys are going to be pushing towards B. And here comes some util through there, and Lichlord does get himself some damage. It's not going to be anything noteworthy towards a kill. So they're going to move on to the bomb side. It should be a plant over here by God's Not Dead. He's going to pick that up. Lichlord being a pain and drawing some attention, and Leggy on the angle manages to take off the first head of the Ekasi aggressors. They only really collected Mac 10 from those 2 kills, so nothing ultra dangerous like a rifle. Leggy picks up another one. There's a smoke through, or pop flash through the smoke. Gemini gets one, and God's Not Dead peeks out and gets another, and Donkey then manages to clean it up. Not the cleanest round from Royalty. They do lose 3, which is going to hurt their economy slightly, but on a 3-round winning streak with only 4 deaths in total at this point doesn't mean that they have actually quite a lot in the bank. So full util is going to be the name of the game, and it's going to be the same over in Ekasi. So now's their chance to sort of start swinging the momentum of this. If they can't, they're saving the next one, and it could then suddenly turn into a 5-0 on their next buy round. But they do have a good setup over here. Gemini just peeking into mid, looking at Mexi, seeing if he can scalp anybody. They do get some banana control. Do Royalty, because it takes a little bit of damage from the nades. Luckily it was towards the wood pile and not on his angle, otherwise that could have gone a lot worse for him. Some good pressure up here through apps, or some good info gathering as they push through. They do have Badger on the angle with the AWP to contest with if they do peek for Arch. They've left the bomb down in mid, so if they do get a quick pick, they're going to need to travel some distance and probably lose some time there to recollect that. Good mid control, though, coming through. They are now in the ducky area. Good nade. Oh no, it didn't do any damage. It landed right next to him. That's a bit strange. Gaben, Volvo, please fix. But Ekasi is fixing for a fight over here, and Gemini is going to be right on the angle. He's going to walk out and he's going to get 1. He gets 2, which is huge for them. God's Not Dead does manage to get a kill, but there's only 2 Royalty players left. Donkey pushing in on the other side of B with the Mac 10 is going to be met by a double stack on that angle. And it does look like B is going to be the call as they rotate in here. God's Not Dead doesn't have a lot of HP to play with. I wish he would trade out the weapon first. And he runs out with the Mac 10 and he gets a jumping headshot on DMS. But there's still one in the back, and it's Lichlord, and he picks up the first kill. Now it's just God's Not Dead. He's only on 34 HP, so 2 bullets, and he's going to go down. And there is support from CT, but it's not going to matter because Lichlord is going to take his head off, and that's more like it from Ekasi. They win their first buy round, which does help them out quite a lot, but there's still actually a lot of money on Royalty. Donkey would be able to drop 2 rifles here. Absolutely no problems, and they are going to buy as a result. And actually, he's not even going to drop. They're going to pick up the AWP instead, which is going to be interesting. T-side AWP. Leggy is very good with it, however. Badger is stuck on an MP9, so no AWP to counter, which is unfortunate. Even though Ekasi do win the round, they didn't bring the best of weapons through with them. Elitshore does have an AK, which is actually really nice for the one-shot headshot potential as they're entering onto the sites. Could be a good nade, and it is. God's Not Dead absolutely eats it. Lands in his earlobes. And they're going to carry on pushing through here. The B defense so far has been pretty tight. They did manage to 2-man it on the last round. We've got also some good apps and mid presence over here, and they're going to look to push out into this ducky and mid area, which they do secure. Pushing the CTs back. Obviously just playing passive, and DMS manages to pick one up in the form of God is Not Dead. So it's much better for the CTs. They drop one and don't spread out. It's not too much the end of the world, though, if the T's do group up and push together. But once again, they've left that bomb really, really far behind. This is going to hurt them. If they do secure a site, then someone's going to have to play fetch. It looks like there is going to be a push moving in over here towards the B bomb site. Just a lone man there, and they've actually got arch control. Gemini's smoked off, so he can't see anything as they now push over into the CT area. They're going to start coming around the backs of their opponents, and are they going to be ready for this? It doesn't look like it, but they've got the information. EXE checks the close corner, but DMS manages to clean up. He gets himself a 2k, which is going to carry on with this B defense hold. Gemini's going to chime in for one of his own, and now it's just Leggy, so he's just going to plant over here. He's got two more coming up behind him, and they just absolutely choke off that bomb site. And now Ekasi gets himself into a nice 2-3 position. Royalty is more or less broke. They only have God's Not Dead. He's got 5k, so probably going to do some economy equalization with him. Maybe he'll drop a dig or two at this point, which he does. Gets a little bit of util as well, so they've got something to play with. Just a deco, no armor coming out from Royalty, full guns, and really nice double AK setup actually for Ekasi. It's so much harder to push into when it's a guaranteed one-shot headshot. And a nice nade setup comes out from DMS and Lichlord. They hear the man pushing up, and God's Not Dead eats it, so now he's going to have to play off the mini-map and do the full RGL thing. They do start slowing it down. I really like what Ekasi's doing here as well. They get a kill, they get a pick, they get info, and then they pull back and set up some nice delaying util. There is a boost over the top. Lichlord could be caught out by Doobie here, but does he see him? He does see him, and he gets the booster first. So Donkey, who's trying to help Doobie get the kill, is actually the one that pays the price for that situation. Now they don't repeak, which is really good discipline from them. Not giving anything away. Royalty are going to have to play harder for it. Badger picks up one as well, which is going to help out a lot. But EXE pushes through silently. He could be the snake in the grass that undoes this here. There's no indication from the players on B that this might be the case, and he's going to sneak up right behind Badger here. He does some trigger discipline. It's going to be a knife. Puts it between his shoulder blades and manages to net himself an AWP, but Gemini quick to react, and he does pick him off now. Now it's just Doobie in a 1-on-4 with a dig and a flash. Unless he channels some Nico 2016 Deagle shenanigans, I don't think he's going to win this round. He's going to have to contest with who else has spotted him, and he tries to do the jump off the balcony. Who else cleans it up? Without too much incident. So Ekasi only lose one there, which is really good for their economic standpoint. Now 9,600 USD on the boy Gemini, so he can do some dropping. Royalty did manage to get a buy going into this round. It's full AKs. A little bit of light util on Donkey. Everybody else seems pretty well stacked. This is quite an important round because they've lost buy rounds before against Ekasi. I do favor this CT setup that they're doing 4 rounds. They are playing it to perfection on Ekasi. So Royalty with ground to make up here. They started off well, got 3 in a row, but now they've been counted 3 in a row. So we'll see if they can now get it some sort of setup going. And it does look like it is going to be a push in towards the area. The first guy, Badger's already picked one up in the interim actually, but they do push through. Now he's going to be swinging around the back. Just going to get util off though. There's pretty much nothing you can do from there. And then on the other side of the map, there is a scurry and a trade, which actually favors the T's now. It is a 3v3 for the retake, but the T's do have a little bit of util. It's actually quite square on util. The only problem for them is Gemini is a little bit low. So he's one and done, if anything. He's going to boost over the top here. He might catch EXE off guard. No, he doesn't. EXE is ready for it, and he manages to pick up the kill. So now it's just Lich Lord and Badger left to do the retake. And I kind of almost want to see them jam it here. Lich Lord goes in, he gets the first kill, and God's Not Dead manages to pick up 2. So a good defense from them on the retake from Royalty. They break the winning spree of Ekasi, and Ekasi's still going to be able to buy because in those 3 rounds they only died 4 times, so they've still got really good money. They are going to buy it, but after this they've got basically nothing, no real loss bonus to work with, and it's the same for Royalties. This is actually even more of a hinging round. It's almost a guaranteed double up for whomever at least wins this round. Royalty take the early banana control, not that much contestation this time from Ekasi. They decide to hold on to their util rather for the push or for any information that they do receive. Lich Lord in position on top to make it a slightly more difficult angle. DMS does spot out Donkey, and immediately he drops util to suppress that, and not that great mid presence right now from Royalty. They could actually take apps here just to get themselves a little bit more info on what's happening on A. There are 3 guys laying in wait there. Lich Lord on the angle here for the push, and Royalty seems like they are going to commit now into the B bomb site. And here comes the last bits of util, and they run out, and Donkey manages to catch Lich Lord blind. Doobie picks up one of his own. Actually, on the other side of the map, once again, they sell the fake. And now it's just DMS here. And there's only two CTs left. Ekasi getting picked up one by one. Liggy picks himself up another kill as well. And DMS just goes for maybe a bit of a foolhardy push there through the smoke, and he gets himself taken down as well. So good round there from Royalty. They've done a lot, actually, in the last 2 rounds to equalize the pressure and setup from Ekasi, and I actually really like this pause from Ekasi as well. They've identified, hey guys, something's not working, something's not quite linking up, and they've beaten us with the same sort of play twice in a row now. Let's just discuss this and come up with a counter strategy. Looking at your scoreboard though, EXE just dominating, showing us why he's been one of the most consistent players with a 9 for 5. He's topped by God's Not Dead, the EGL, and a 6 for 3. And then on the other side, it's who we'd expect, Gemini, who else in DMS on the top. But heading into round number 9, let's see if anything changes. I don't think Ekasi can change too much right now. They're broke as a joke. So they're going to opt to look for a banana push, which is going to be met by God's Not Dead. He's going to be just around the corner, and they full push him, and he gets destroyed. One man tries to go down mid in the form of who else, but he also dies, and now they're trying to push down Banana, which isn't working out for them. And Royalties now realize that their entire player set is there. They've got one AK to Ekasi, but that's about it right now. And if with a lurk in the form of Doobie, it should be an easy A plant. Now I'm going to plant it for Pit and Apps, which is the right call. And just seems like Ekasi's going to jam that AK out of the round. I don't know what else they could really... Well, I think we'll have to see how the next buy goes. But they've just got to be aware of these fakes that keep coming out from Royalty. They seem to... They make it look like they're pushing both places simultaneously. And Ekasi's sort of caught in between going... Well, which side is it, right? Their information gathering and relay to their IGL just needs to improve just a little bit. They will be better in here, but Royalty selling these fakes like absolute champions. So both teams go through that round with quite a lot of players left on the board, which helps in certain terms. Ekasi is a little light though on cash. They are going to force up. They don't really need head armor because they know that there's AKs over on the side of Royalty. So one shot headshot regardless. Save the 350, rather get some extra util. Ekasi takes the early banana control, which is preferable. I really like the style of CT play where you get aggressive in the beginning and then pull back slowly as you use more and more util. Dewey does take a lot of damage in mid though. Now they're going to push past Gemini here. He's absolute snake in the grass. He could do a lot of damage to them here without them even knowing it. Good trigger discipline. And as they turn around, it's too late. And Gemini manages to get the 2k. Now they are going to rotate over to BR Royalty. But with a 5v3, it just becomes that much more difficult. And it's actually more like a 2.1 v5. Because Dewey is a one and done. He's basically dead. Any bit of stray damage util and he's going to go down. They're going to look to push in here. And he has that nade. Lich Lord, just on the timing, doesn't quite manage to get it. They're going to look to boost over the top, but nobody's going to be there. Lich Lord aware of their shenanigans. He wasn't even fooled the first time, so he pulls right back into the site alongside DMS. So all of that cutoff util for CT is going to be relatively useless. DMS waiting with a flash as the push comes through, and here comes the push, and there's going to be a nice molly going in the way of Bri area, and they're just going to clean it up. And now it's just Leggy, and he's on 17 HP. There's very little he can do from this position, even with the bits of util he does have. And Ekasi are not peeking. They're not going to give anything away, and he can at least jam this gun out of the round. But Ekasi just get even better setups, even better util. 2 AKs on the CT side is really nice to have. But now, Royalty does a full buy. They pick up the AWP once again onto Leggy. He's going to be looking for picks in mid, probably, or towards top of B, but Ekasi haven't been giving away anything in those areas. Not peeking dry, using the util well. First shot comes out from Badger onto Dewey. He gets taken down at the bottom of B. So Ekasi start with the man up, which is preferable. Not the end of the world, as I said, for Royalty when that sort of setup. But who else gets another one? And he goes aggressive into apps and picks out another kill. Now Royalty, only 3-man left again. And they keep going into this position. And so far, Ekasi in this position pretty much haven't lost a round, actually, when they've gone 5-3 up. I like their position change as well. They played on site last time, so now they're being a little bit less predictable by having a double stack towards CT. The smokes are almost definitely going to come out from Royalty in their general direction. So we'll have to see if they do remember to check boost. Good molly is actually onto the site. Set them up, but nobody's there, and Lich Lord is going to get himself a 2k from the boost. That's absolutely perfect. Now it's just Leggy, and he takes some damage through the smoke. He's only on 32 HP. So he's going to try and push onto the bomb site here. He does have bomb in hand, so he could do a plant, but he's going to be wise and just wait on the smoke. He hears DMS jump, so now he might just press the issue. He sees the shadow, and he gets the first kill. He's in a 1-on-4 situation, so just a plant here would be actually great for the economic standpoint, but it's not going to be. Badger is posting the angle, and he gets the kill. So 6-5, Royalty won't be too disheartened by that scoreline. I think if they can get a 9-6 or even an 8-7 into the next half, their CT side setup is very, very, very tight and very difficult to push through. So, Ekasi, actually, I would like to see them actually go with an 8-7 into this for their round setup, or for their map setup, to be able to close this out on the T side. And Lich Lord and DMS once again with the exact same nade setup managed to take down Donkey, put themselves in a 5v4. There's a little bit of damage actually that comes through. Lich Lord gets dinked, but for a whole 12 because there was a lot of wall between him and the bullet, which helps a lot. There's a very aggressive apps push up here. EXE getting a ton of info. Gemini and his cohort, who else, are prepared for this push. It does look like Royalty are going to be making their way into it. And who's going to be first? It's going to be Doobie. He picks up the first kill. Badger gets taken down. EXE gets one, which means that they now secure the site. in what's supposed to be an eco round. So they've got this set up. There's plenty of util over on Ekasi's side, so they do give themselves a couple of options. Nobody pushing up N1. Are they all going to push through this library side? It seems like it's going to be the play. The util comes out. They start to push onto the side. The first man to respond is going to be Gosm Dead, and he's going to get two. Absolutely no stress. Leggy with a kill of his own as they boost up. Really nice round there from Royalty. EXE taking even more scalps, putting himself as the #1 player on the server kill-wise. Really good work there from Royalty to secure that round. A change of pace, a change of location, just becoming that little bit more unpredictable, and Ekasi given the dirt nap. Now look at this push up from Gemini into mid. Is he going to be able to get a kill? No, he's not. He's going to throw his life away. Doobie's going to pick up the first one. Badger goes in as well, and it turns to an absolute disaster. Only 2 CTs left on the map now versus 4. Who else does have a nice position here? He should be able to pick up the kill onto Doobie, absolutely no problem. But now they know that where he is, and they can actually maybe sell a fake here, Royalty, and go B. Early rotation coming out from Lichlord actually is the right call, because they're going to just push straight onto the side. And who else has pushed himself up into an interesting position here on the balcony? They actually have a pincer maneuver, all things considered, but EXE's not falling for it, and he's trained on both angles, and he's going to pick up both kills. And that's going to be the 8-5 to Royalty. This is really, really bad news for Ekasi, though. They sort of want to at least get it almost 50-50, but 8-5 really good for Royalty. This is their map pick, so they should be cruising it through. And this is much better. I was going to say momentum, but it's not really, right? Because it's a 3-3-3-2-2. Sort of trading blows amongst each other. They can get to a 9-6. They'll be able to close out the round. And Jimmy hears them, and he starts spraying through the apps. And he manages to get a kill. And how are they missing, though? How did Doobie miss there with an automatic? That's a little bit awkward, but Royalty do pick up the better trades, and they go to a 2-4. But Badger in a really cool position here in mid. He's going to turn away at the wrong time, and the bomb is going to walk right past him, and he's not going to be able to see it there. He does manage to get up behind EXE, but now he's giving his position away. So they're going to know he's there. He's going to go for the fancy flash off the top of the smokestack, which does help to slow the bomb plant down and allow Lichlord to come in. But they got 4 and 14 HP respectively. Even though Donkey's on 4 HP, stray bullets are going to be the name of the game here. Whoever touches first is going to be able to pick up the kills. Leggy overkilling with the AWP, if only he knew. But the bomb in the interim has rotated all the way onto the B bomb side. And they're going to hear it go down, and they're going to start trying to retake here, and they've been fooled. There's a ruse happening. And Leggy picks up the first kill. That's just Lichlord to contend with on this site. He's been found out, and he thinks that God's Not Dead is somewhere in the site. But they've sold it. They've sold it super, super hard at Royalty. And Neggy's going to pick up Lichlord as he's trying to creep onto the site for a player that's not even there. So really nice setup from them. Royalty starting to accelerate, starting to now gain some momentum. They can go 10-5 into the next half. It's going to be heavy. But as the half is actually coming to a close, I think when we do the round change, I'll actually announce the giveaway time, and then you guys will be able to put the keyword in chat. Our boy Nobody will give you an example thereof. But as we get into the last round of this half, quite a interesting setup from Ekasi. They go for the boost onto Ducky, which is very twin-edged sword. Royalty are playing into this area, so it could be interesting, but there's actually nobody in pit, and if they come bursting out of there, who else is not in the most defensible position? There's not a lot of cover for him to seek from there. And it does look like this is going to be the play, and Royalty is going to come barreling out. Who else is on the angle? But he gets flashed. He can't see anything, and he's going to need help from his teamies under and on top of Ducky. And now they know that there's one on top of Ducky. He goes for the kill, but he doesn't manage to pick it up. And while Royalty do lose 2 players, they take out 3 from Ekasi, securing themselves the A bomb site. Now it's just DMS and Lichlord left. to try and get this retake. They are, of course, going to go for it, being the last round. There is a kit there for them under Ducky. And they start to push into the lane in one area that Molly's not going to get anybody, but DMS manages to pick up the first kill, and Lichtlord gets another one. So now it's a 2v1. DMS goes up high, and Lichtlord manages to catch him. And that should be, yeah, quite comfortably on the defuse. So they actually do get the 9-6, but still, overall, you have to give it to Royalty at this point in time. They just are in that much better of a position. So 9-6 half, led by Royalty. DB Leggy and EXE doing the heavy lifting for Royalty. Gemini, a Lich Lord, and Badger, the 3 stars on the side of Ekasi so far. Now they've got a difficult task ahead of them, chasing that 9-6. If Royalty win this pistol round, it could just slide horribly into the 12-6 scenario. So let's see what happens here. Lichlord does have smoke, 2 flashes. They have a decoy as well. And they're going for a full B rush over here. Bomb is trailing a little bit, and the rotations are going to start coming in. Yubi is going to be the first responder on the site, and he's going to pick up 1. And his teammate EXE is going to get taken down, and he manages to get 2. So they do a 2-for-2 trade, so it's going to be a 3-on-3 retake. And the CTs are coming up quickly. But who else manages to pick up a kill? So now it's only a 2v3. God's Not Dead going a little bit too early. Now it's a 2-on-2 thanks to Leggy and his work. And it's going to be Badger who picks up the first, and now it's just a 2-on-1. And Donkey's caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place, and who else is going to get the last one? So Ekasi doing themselves a favor by winning that pistol round. This bodes much better for this half for them. It forces Royalty into a position where they basically have to do a full eco. They're going to go for the deco though. They're going to buy up. So Mad Lad CS coming out here from Royalty. They decide that it's better to go for the buy here and play for that 3rd round loss bonus. Ekasi are going to just set up a default, get some control here and there. EXE eats a nade in the interim. Loses 40 of his HP as they work to take banana control, and Gemini is going to take the first scalp. So they've got some good banana control. The CTs have to just spread themselves that much thinner. If they ever extend here towards B, it's going to be an open site and probably the round along with it. And they do. They actually go for the peak, which is perhaps not preferable. Now the bomb is going to rotate in there. All 5 players of Ekasi are going to set up for that area. And the last 2 Royalty players are going to jam. So good turn of events here, at least at the start of the round. We'll have to see how the first buy round goes. There might be a point of Royalty's acceleration back into the lead. But right now, they're probably going to give it up, if anything. Ekasi seem to have done enough right now to secure a full 5-man survival into the next round, which is going to obviously help the economic standpoint. They can probably upgrade those Mac 10s. And poor Royalty just have 2 Ds and some hopes and dreams probably for the next round. But I think it is about that time that we get the first giveaway underway. So Josh will show you how to do the EGL one in the chat. Look out for nobody. His example there. Please, guys, only enter once, because if you do a double entry, it will actually break your entry and then you won't be entered, which will suck. And then if you are subscribed to the channel, you do get 2 entries for being subscribed to the channel. So get your entries in, because in about 2 rounds we're probably going to do the roll of destiny and see who our winner is for the day. Our Royalty have stacked towards the top of B, which is going to result in a mean double nade kill and almost the 3rd Leggy on a whole 5 HP. He does then go down to the Mac 10. So even while they've stacked it, that stack has been whittled away. Donkey does manage to get who else in towards the apps over here, but he's going to be taken down by Lichlord. Now it's just God's Not Dead left on the site, and this should just be a formality. They're going to run at him with the Mac 10s and pick that up. And it's only 1 kill Oh, DMS, a bit of BM there. It's what we like to see. So Royalty, or Ekasi at least, bringing it back to a 9 versus 9. But this is a mirror of the last round, and now there is a full buy coming out from Royalty, including an AWP on Leggy, and I've seen what he can do with that thing. So, see what his big green gun will net him today. In this case, a big white gun. They're going to set up for the mid pressure and get themselves the boiler control. Do Ekasi, but if you guys push that angle without any util, it's going to go very pear-shaped very quickly, I suspect. But they're actually going to go through Arch, and they're going to catch off Doobie here, and he's going to get taken down. Now there's only one man on B. And Ekasi could just hold W and do a push in that general direction. And it's just EXE left on the angle. He's actually been put into a principal maneuver, but they decide to push in from the other side from Ducky, and they get taken down. Now it's just a one-man left, and they know that he's on B, as who else comes in from around the side and takes out Leggy. Now it's just EXE left with a gun, and Ekasi showing brilliant teamwork at the moment. Just clean up that site, and it's just EXE left here, and he's going to be looking for exit frags. By the looks of things, really good discipline from Ekasi. I like that they're not over pushing and biding their time and actually allowing Royalty to make some mistakes into them and then taking advantage of that. So Royalty, I would say they actually need to take a pause and just do a recount, because that's now 5 rounds on the trot for Ekasi. Ekasi seem to have... So for the first giveaway, on a side note, we will be doing the Steam voucher with 250 South African rand. So as the Steam summer sale comes up, and if you're into 8 Rand Dota skins like I am, and 12 Rand CSGO skins, that's like 120 skins nearly that you can buy with a 250 Rand Steam gift voucher. Courtesy of Evesports and Intel. We'll do the roll at least at the end of this round. So, get your entries in, guys. Only got about a minute left before we do the first roll. And don't worry if you miss it, because we'll be doing the ETech Neo backpack sometime towards the end of map 2. And what's most impressive right now, though, is Ekasi is leading on Royalty's map push. They actually fight in the Inferno specialist. Gemini going for a push through mid. He does have smoke at his back, so the guys aren't going to be able to get any real damage out onto them, at least accurately. Pistol damage as well does like 12 if you don't headshot, so it's not the end of the world. Oof, and a nasty nade into the corner means that Donkey takes 82 damage. Probably blown off half of his leg. He's going to need some new shoes, mom. And they're going to go for the push here, and they do manage to get him. They do swing around for the man that's at the back of A. They don't get the kill, and there are 3 towards A, and they sort of realize this and stop pushing in towards B, and it's only God's Not Dead to contest with. So now they can literally hold W onto B. Who else gets caught out in the interim by EXE, the only man with a gun? Badger is set up in mid, though, and he manages to pick up a kill. There's only 2 CTs left, so they're probably going to opt to save what weapons they can as they go into the next round. But Ekasi playing this exceptionally well. They seem to just have, like, it's almost like they've counter-strated Royalty here. It's like they're in their heads completely. They just know where they are. They know where their preferred places of play are, and they're countering them and selling fakes really, really well right now. And that is now their 6th round on the trot. Gemini going huge with an 18 for 11. 217 util damage on him, 209 on Lichlord. So their nades and stuff are just that much better. And Dube, the almost sole carry on the other team with a 15 for 17. He's dying a lot. He's getting 88 ADR out. So trying hard, it would seem, our Royalty. But Ekasi just that much better, that much further ahead right now. Showing why this acquisition of Lichlord and this little bit of a shuffle that they did do is working out really well for them. Their teamwork is really good. Across the board, they almost have the same score. But we do have another buy coming out from Royalty. They really need to win this one, and they're staring down the barrel of the 13-9. They do go for the early B aggression, and it does work out. EXE manages to get 2. It wasn't looking really... It didn't look good there initially. They then managed to turn it into a 4v3. So EXE pulling one out for the homies. They really needed that right now as well, so... It bodes well for their hopes at taking this map. Ekasi are so rich now though, like they could have... Oh, and EXE gets another one. I was going to say they could have half-funded Dan Bilzerian's fake lifestyle with the amount of money that they've got on hand. Hashtag just saying. So now we have Lich Lord and Badger, who are so pushing B. There is support coming around in the form of God's Not Dead, but the Danger Man on Ekasi or on Royalty right now. .exe is lying in wait, and family. He's already got a 3k in the round. He's obviously feeling it, and they do go for a flash play in, and God's Not Dead is going to pick up the first one because there's a gap in the smoke, and it's not going to work out. They get pincered between the GND and the EXE. Now that's much better for Royalty, much better position. 10-11, still close as you like, but their first round win once taking the CT side, and normally they're quite dominant from this position, so a lot to play for here. And even with that full buy and AWPs and everything, Ekasi is still rich. So they've got absolutely no problems, and they're going to be confident. It gives you some semblance of confidence. Nice nade actually there coming down. But it does give you that confidence just to let it hang out there a little bit more, because you know that you do have the ability to buy, but it could also turn into a foolish overextension. Let's see what Ekasi does now. They're just going with a default, getting some apps control, holding mid and banana. And Royalty right back on the sites. Is some spam through the apps that almost connects onto Donkey. But not quite. Now they're going to push through mid Ekasi. 3 players to contest with here. One of them being Leggy with that up. God's Not Dead playing from the side angle. Donkey nicely on the balcony. He does throw quite an interesting molly there behind the door, which means that he doesn't get burnt, and it will actually disrupt smokes. If you're wondering why he did that, that's what the aim of his game. This is quite a new move. I can't remember who did it first, but I did see it in a top level program quite recently. But here comes the shove from Ekasi. They're going on to the B bomb site. There's 2 people who are going to be ready to receive. It's EXE once again who's doing the big damage. He manages to get himself a 2k. Doobie chimes in for the third, and EXE gets another one. So that's 4 players down, and now it's just Lich Lord who's stuck in a rock and a hard place. And Royalty restore that really good defense strategy. EXE just carrying his team now over the line. 22-13 for him. Now the number 1 player on the server. 1.69 KD. Nice. So now Ekasi, this is pretty much their last buy. No, actually they still have money. They could probably buy another one with their last bonus. They actually should be able to buy another one. But Royalty now with a 2 in a row with good money on their side. If they lose this with the lost bonus that they've got, they've also got a lot of money. So we should see at least 2 more buy rounds from both of these teams. There's some pressure up into the banana area. Doobie and Gemini saying hello to each other over the wall like good neighbors should. There is some good pressure and presence from Ekasi, managing to push right up into the mid area, getting themselves some good info. So they got B control and they've got the boiler control there. It does look like they are prepared to relinquish that boiler control and posture towards B, but this could be a mistake. There's 3 players in waiting, and one of them is EXE, who's just been absolutely dominant. He gets flashed in and he pushes, and he does manage to pick up the first kill. And with that smoke, it's really difficult to aggress through there into him, especially with the way he's been aiming the last couple of rounds. And Ekasi are ready to push onto the A site here. They do have a 4-man push versus 2, so this is a good rotation from them. God's Not Dead is in position to assist here from Library, but he's going to get smoked off. He just goes for a wild spray through the smoke, doesn't net him too much damage, but Donkey is the first one to get killed, which is going to help them slow it down. Who else is above him, but he's aware. He gets another one, and he goes for a third, and it doesn't quite work out. But in the interim, it's a scurry of kills, and Ekasi was in a 2-on-2. Litchfield goes for the fake, and he manages to get the kill on Doobie. Doobie holding W, probably when he shouldn't have. He should have been waiting for his team. And God's Not Dead now in a 1-on-1. He does have a kit, but no util. Lichlord with a double flash. And he seems to be aware that he's coming in from the B side. He peeks dry, and God's Not Dead gets the kill. So Royalty, when it looked like they may have actually lost that round, they still managed to turn it around. So, guys, on the after of that, it's time for the giveaway. So, without further ado, production, drum roll, please. I have nothing to do a drum roll, and the winner is, I'm sure you guys will see it in chat before I do, to be honest. But looking at the game, we have an early start of util damage from Gemini, and who else who managed to take out one towards B. Now there's only one man left on the website, on the site of B. It's not quite a website. And they're going to go with a heavy push in now, and there's going to be G&D who's on the scene and gets himself a 2k, gets himself a 3k and the bomb. And that's much better form from them. Now it's just Lichlord and Badger left here. Lichlord does take quite a bit of damage. He jumps up over the top. He manages to get a kill onto G&D. And now it's just Badger left in a 1-3. Nobody coming behind him. But the bomb is in a horrible position, and it's stuck between a very, very nasty pincer maneuver, and EXE is going to spot for info, but he doesn't see him. The timing goes against him, but Leggy is going to be a year old reliable with the AWP, and he's going to be able to pick up the kill. So Royalty reverse it now, get a 4-round momentum going, get the big money on their end. There's a full loss bonus coming through from Ekasi, which is going to help them, but not this round. They're going to have to do sort of a weird in-between buy, and Gemini actually overspends. And so does who else, to be honest. Both of them dropping quite low, so they're probably going to be on Khalil's or Mac 10s or something like that in the next round. And Royalty now in the driver's seat, 13-11. Huge comeback from them. There is a trade in towards the apartments. They're going to hold W through the fire and jump it down into the man on pit. Did he manage to get the kill? But Leggy chimes in for one and puts him in a 3-on-2. It's not even really. Badger's only got 6 HP. And now Royalty has 3 players, a boatload of util for this retake. DB's going to go early again, and he's going to get taken out again by Badger, who's only on 6 HP. Keeps underestimating the Ekasi players, and they're making him pay for it. So it works out for them though, but Royalty manages to pick up the last 2 kills. EXE just too good right now, 25-15. And the winner of that giveaway, by the way, was Liam Cuffley. It's quite a cool name. Won't lie. I'm a Crossley. What's up, Cuffley? I see you there, player. Congratulations, you won yourself 250 South African rands worth of Steam gift voucher. But Royalty in this game, it's gone 5-5. Massive momentum shift. EXE dropping the elbow. 25-5. Really, really strong. They have been dying quite a lot. It starts off with more of that in this round as the B side goes down to 1 CT. This is EXE, the danger man. But Royalty have actually died quite a lot, so the economic standpoint is very, well, it's just all over the place. It's like watching Jacob Zuma doing trigonometry. It's all over the place. But Royalty in a position where they spread a little bit thin, only 2 men per site, and that means that the arch area is practically wide open. And if Ekasi can figure this out, they'll be in there with a chance. But it seems like they're setting up towards A. They want to go with an N1 ducky push. DMS catches out EXE pushing. Why are you pushing when you're down a man? That is not the wise maneuver, sir. Now it puts him in an even worse position. I mean, you got 3, so now they've got 1 per site and 1 in mid. He's going to be a 4-man stack, and that's who else taking out Donkey as well. And God's Not Dead does manage to get himself 1 on the BU site, but he's smoked off absolutely everywhere. This Lord is going to go for the plant. He is getting harassed through the smoke. It isn't going to be enough, though. He's on 50 HP still. The MSN, who else, are a little bit low. So they could make the 2v4 happen, especially if they can pick up a kill beforehand, but who else is too in tune with what's going on in this round, and he manages to take out Leggy before he can do anything. So G&D, it's definitely time to jam. And that'll take us to 14-12. So Ekasi effectively break that momentum shift, which is going to help a lot. At least mentally, if nothing else. Economically, they still, even with the loss bonus here, one of their players is going to be quite poor, but he can be dropped 4. They only have to do 1 drop, so not bad, all things considered, actually. But what a weird setup on Royalty. 8k, 9k, and then 2 3ks. So they're going to do some drops, and we'll have to see what they come out with here. It's going to be a double farmers? No, okay. 3 M4s. 1 farmers, 1 AWP. So not too bad. But now they're flat broke. They have no loss bonus coming to save them. So if they lose this round, we could be seeing 14-14 quite casually. And Kasi posturing towards this A side for this round. It has been a little bit more successful for them in general. EXE has just been shutting down that B bomb side like a PC with a very fast SSD. Leggy trained on the angle in mid. They're going to smoke him off. He's not going to take the shot and give away his position. He's going to instead draw back. There's 1 man who's coming to put pressure through the apps area. Donkey does jump down, so they will know that he's in pit. That there is at least 1 in pit. There's Leggy in lane, yeah. I'm not sure if I like this position, but he does manage to pick up the first kill. God's Not Dead swings right after him, and they manage to pick up 2. And then he pushes into apps, and he gets another one, does G&D. So now Ekasi, in a 2-on-4, they win 1, and then it goes horribly pear-shaped in the next. Royalty adjusting really nicely. Sort of outthinking them, and this should be a 15-2. And then that'll be map point for Royalty. And it's, if anything else, if nothing else, it's just good for them economically. And it should help them see out the remainder of the map. Badger does do a fake on this end, but there's only 10 seconds left, and it doesn't seem like Royalty has any intention of pushing out. So it's going to be a James setup. Oh no, they do. They actually catch Badger off guard. He was getting complacent because he thought it was the end of the round. And it's going to be 15-12. And now it's Royalty with map point. A much better spread from them as far as kills and impact goes right now. G&D coming up to the top of the scoreboard as the EGL, but it's really been the EXE show so far. And equally on the other side, Gemini has done well for his team. Royalty map point on the line. What do they decide to do? Royalty actually goes for a very aggressive play, and it works out. They get 2 kills. 1 in mid and 1 in B. There's a trade onto EXE, but they're going to like that position a lot. DMS really low as well. They're going to be loving this position. Now they just need to stay patient. And wait for some overextensions. Who else gives away his position there? Maybe it was his intention. Maybe he's looking to create some fake pressure over here. All his teammates posted towards B and mid. Donkey right below him. Hears him jump out. Is aware that this will be a possibility, and he picks him. So now there's only 2 left. There is 1 man on B, but it's Leggy on the long angle with the AWP. If he takes down 1, that's probably just going to be the end of the round. He does get flashed out, which is going to help. Badger holds W. He does take out 1, but they've got to know Badger is close. He would have heard that thing hit him, and he's just going to peek it, and that's going to be the 16-12. So Royalty, after a bit of a bumpy start, managed to take it. And even with Ekasi taking 6 rounds in a row as they were going from that CT to that T transition, Royalty just answers right back with a bunch of kills and rounds of their own to take their map pick 16-12. So now as we go on to train, this is a very strong Ekasi environment, as we've seen with their game versus Omnius and Ikirus. They took 16-3. Let's see if they can come back on their map pick. But right now, ladies and gents, that is going to be a short break, and we will see you guys in the next couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back to the Evesports EGL 1 2020 lower bracket round 2 game between Royalty and Ekasi Esports. If you're just joining us, Royalty has taken their map pick on Inferno 1612, and it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Ekasi actually put in quite a good effort and had a significant lead. They won 6 rounds in a row, so they definitely do have the teamwork to be able to do it. It did also seem to some extent that Royalty was in a bit of a warm-up time, and then EXE came online and he literally just started decimating the field. He finished 27 and 15, I think, which is yeah, quite a good effort. So he was head and shoulders above the remainder of his team. But Ekasi is a new team. Most importantly, they have just come together as this roster in the last couple of weeks, and they've actually shown some really promising play. This map specifically, they had a 16-3 versus Omnius Anarchy, which was as dominating as it sounds. They played absolutely incredibly. They had an answer for absolutely everything. So I think if they, I don't actually know which side they're going to start on. If I check, it seems like they are going to be starting on T side. So they're going to have to lead and then defend, which is perhaps not preferable. This is extremely CT sided, especially if you have the right setups and the right map knowledge over here. It can be, well, it generally is quite a CT sided map, especially when guns and stuff are on the table. Rotations and communication are extremely important, and audio info gathering here, especially with that midsection above B, is very, very important. So we'll see if they can repeat the success. Can Royalty? I think they are going to be starting, as I said, on the CT side. So preferable for them. They're coming off a win, which helps, and they were accelerating towards the end of that map quite steadily. No discredit to Ekasi. I think they had a couple of fumbles here and there. But it was almost Royalty almost approached it with some bombastic sort of plays where they just shoved through certain areas, pop flashed through, and it caught Ekasi off guard a number of times. So they can do that again on the CT side and make sure that they're getting those nice strangleholds around and cutting off all the angles effectively together, and then keep that fragging momentum. It's going to be quite an uphill battle here for Ekasi. And then later on, towards the end of this map, we will be doing another giveaway, which I'll do in Eve Tech Neo Backpack, sponsored by Evesports and Intel. So stick around, because it's going to be a good day of CS. Train, as a map, has been around almost as long as I've been playing CS. It was literally a map in 1.5, even maybe CS 1.3. It's gone through a number of iterations, a lot of changes. Old Bomb was behind the A site. It was actually towards the back. It's been moved out towards the front. You used to be able to sneak underneath trains as well, which made it incredibly precarious on the indoor section. That's been changed out quite heavily now, so we'll have to see what happens. But Royalty definitely was at an advantage starting on the CT side, even though it is Ekasi's map pick. And it looks like we are ready to get into the pistol round. No, not quite. The guys weren't ready. It does seem like the ready system had a bit of a bug. Let's see. It didn't quite go live. It seems like the guys need to ready again. And yeah, it's like the guys have full armor. I don't know. And Elec is also on the T side. You can't play 6v5 because that's just cheating. Seems like, I think it's down to the fact that Elec is actually there. He should be able to go to spectator from here, I hope. No, it doesn't seem like he can get into the coaching position, so we might need to call on Casper to come and save us quickly. Luckily, he is a friendly ghost, is Casper, so if you're into Spooktober, his name definitely fits in quite nicely there. We're just checking in on our side. It does seem like it's been fixed. I only see 5 players per team now. Nobody is doing the checks before we get going. But let me just talk about the tournament and the setup and why we opted to go with this. So normally when you have a 16 round double elim, you have a total of 33 games. And if you do it over a weekend, the most of the times you can stream maybe 9 to 12 of those games. So that's less than 60%. Whereas inversely, in this format that we have where we stream bi-weekly, we can stream 23 out of 33 games. So you get the most amount of games on stream, or the most amount of games broadcast as humanly possible. So that's why we went with this setup. So it looks like it has been fixed. The right players are in the right places. It should just be a ready up, and the guys should be ready to go. I think we're just waiting on 2 more ready ups from the Ekasi gents. Oh, even though Elek is in the coach spot, the server's asking him to .r, which he has now done. I mean, I think we may have broken it. Let me just see what's crack-a-lacking over here. But yeah, anyway, the intent of Evesports and the EGL 1 is to try and get this as a sustainable and repeatable thing, and then do it every sort of 3 months, or like a 3-month rotation. So now it seems to be live. Money is good. Everything seems to be good. The pistols are live. And here we go into the first round of train between Royalty and Ekasi. Ekasi opting for a double flash, double smoke setup. They are going to throw their smokes into the mid section and go for a drop play. Good smokes coming out from them. No presence can be had towards the back of green really without exposing himself a lot, but Doobie and Leggy managed to pick up the first kill. Leggy gets himself another one. He's playing from the middle of the train now, being an absolute beast. Ekasi does go for a plant, but it's foolhardy because the guys are right on top of them. Probably just trying to get that money, and DMS gets caught out reloading. So a really clean pistol round comes out from Royalty, and they manage to pull 4 of their players through and keep their armors, which they can just upgrade right now by the looks of it for the most part. And they are going to be able to buy up double scout and a triple MP9 setup. Really like that setup. Scouts can do a good 70 damage, 80 plus if you don't have armor, which the T's aren't going to have. They quite wisely hold on to their money because they didn't get a plant, so they should be able to buy into the next round with that double loss bonus. Ekasi doing a slow push through B. I don't know if they've been heard out by Doobie. I don't think so, because okay, wait, no, here comes Leggy. He rotates in for the top heaven angle. EXE is playing for the close one, but it does look like it's going to be a waterfall, which actually will work well against the scout, which is checking the angle, and he does manage to get a shot in. But EXE turns and he manages to get 2. Lichlaw does pick up 1, and they are going to be able to get a planter by the looks of things. The molly comes out, but no, they didn't get the plant. So that's really good once again from Royalty. They managed to pull through with only 1 loss again. No plant, so Ekasi doesn't have huge money. They will be able to buy AKs here. Royalty are going to probably stay for the most part on their SMGs and scouts. Now they are facing a buy from Ekasi with a full set of AKs. So they really need to be able to hit those shots. And look at this play from Royalty. They're going to push right out here. Do they know? They do a pop flash. Badger manages to get a 2-man spray down, even though he's completely blinded up. G&D manages to get 1 back of his own, but you've definitely got to favor Ekasi on after that. And Lichlord seems to be ready to press the issue. They want to take that RV spot. EXE realizing he needs to go and help, as they do manage to get a push through here, but Leggy and G&D making those scouts work overtime, picking up 2. They do get traded out, however. Now it's a 2-on-1 with EXE At least he has an M4 and a bunch of util to help him out. No kit though, so if there's a plant, he's going to have just that much less time to work with. DMS in a good position for any pushes coming through from the back of Ivy here. Really, really hard spot for EXE. If who else and DMS are both looking at him simultaneously, it should just be a foregone conclusion that he dies here. But he does manage to pick up the first, but who else is trained on the angle? And he's going to be able to take his scalp. So while they do lose the round, Royalty, they do a lot of damage. And it's only really EXE who doesn't have bank to play with here. So I think it's going to be a force. No, they're going to actually opt to save, which is actually preferable. I see Donkey's also quite low. So it is better for them to do a save at this point. No reason to throw away this round and the next. So they go through a mid push like crazy. They try to go up. Pop does Royalty in form of Doobie. A nice little sneaky maneuver there from Lichlord, but his head gets taken off and they do convert an AK. But now Badger, waiting here on the angle, is going to be able to get the first at minimum, but he doesn't have head armor and he's going to get taken down by Donkey. So now they pick up 2 AKs. It's actually a 2v3. They could go for this, could Royalty, but I think they're going to take the damage that they have done and opt to jam the 2 AKs. And the reason they're doing that is because it gives them one-shot headshot potential. So normally the trade-off is if you've got head armor, you'll get dinked by the M4, but if you hit the headshot simultaneously, you will take down the M4 player on the CT side. So they do preferably want a one-shot headshot potential because it makes pushing into it just that much harder. So a good round for Royalty, all things considered, saving those 2 guns on a full eco. Badger getting caught out without head armor. Now he has to settle on the Galil and Ump on Gemini. Even though they won the round, they are a little bit stretched thin as far as firepower and... Well, the utility is actually fine. Firepower, at least, they are a little thin. Doobie in a good spot and Pop already. He's going to get mollied off of the angle. Donkey manages to pick one up, and Doobie gets traded out immediately after that. But Donkey's still in a really dangerous position. He does manage to get a kill, and then the bomb does drop. He gets traded out, but who else has already swung around the back of the bomb site? And Ekasi turned this into a 3-on-2. EXE and G&D, the last men left to try and clean this up, and it seems like they're actually going to opt to save, and G&D just caught out in the middle of no man's land by who else from heaven. Really good maneuvers here from Ekasi to set this up. Now it's just EXE and a 1-on-3, and surely he's going to jam. He's going to be walking slowly in towards mid here. He must have heard Badger now, as Badger's trying to secure himself that AK. Neither of them are going to look to swing, but Badger now is going to run straight into the crosshair of EXE. He's going to be able to pick up 1 kill. They do know where he is. This shot is going to aggress here and try and look for him, but EXE quite smartly and safely gets himself away. And who else goes down to the bomb? Knowing where the CT is, that seems like a bit of a misplay. Regardless, Ekasi does pick themselves up the round. And that's 3 in a row for them. So even though Royalty started off well, they've now lost 3 in a row. And while it hasn't been the cleanest for Ekasi, they've died quite a lot. They are still winning rounds. Royalty now on a save with an AK on EXE has been their best player traditionally, so safe bet to put it on him. He's going to push up into B halls. He could either do really well here or really poorly, and he fluffs it. He doesn't quite get the spray down. Who else is going to be able to turn with Lichlord and take him out? So their only gun is already down. Not 30 seconds into the round. Now Royalty has to be very, very careful and just play kind of far back, and that's not what you want, even though you do have a bunch of deagles. It's less than ideal versus AKs. You both have one tap potential, but the AK is 30 bullets, 207, and fully automatic fire. So, yeah, Royalty, there's a lot of ground to make up here. They're playing quite patient with the setup and not over-rotating. 2 and 2 is the best that they can do in this position. But Leggy, he gets the first one. He takes out Gemini, puts it in his teeth, and now they try to push him against the middle, and he gets a second. There is, and a third. Oh my word, the amount of trades is just out of control. Now it's just Leggy in a one-on-one versus DMS, both of them on the pistol. He's going to be able to take it. He gets himself a 4K in the round. Puts in a huge one for his teamies. Leggy, you monster. Pushes himself up to an 8 for 3, 87% headshot thanks to that round. A 4K, all headshots with the Deke. Serving up 50 cal dental. That premium 50 cal dental. You know, he's on the Discovery Plus plan. And now, Ekasi on the back of it in a really horrible economic situation. Even though they won 3 in a row, they didn't have money to buy. No last round bonus, nothing to help them out. They're going to be on a bunch of pistols and they're going to look to do a rush here onto B. And EXE sitting at the back of Silver is waiting for this. There is going to be some util that comes out. We'll have to see where it lands if it does actually end up helping them. And it doesn't look like it because EXE and Leggy are ready for it. They do manage to get a bunch of kills. 4 kills right now. 5 HP left on EXE, but it's enough that he still stays alive. Only Lichlord left, and he's going to go for the plant. Get himself some money. Nice little cheeky push through the smoke, but it isn't going to net him any kills. So Royalty with a clean round beyond the bomb plant is a little bit of an economic boost onto Ekasi, and they need it after that round before. Just had them looking at the bottoms of their piggy bank, scraping out their last 5 rankies. But Royalty restoring some order, bringing it back to a 4-3. But this has been, these momentum shifts have just been happening all game, or all match so far. So we'll see if they can carry it a little bit further, Royalty. A big setup here from Ekasi towards Ivy. G&D on the angle with the M4. And it does look like the first kill is going to be Dube. Dube in mid. He's quite pushed up, actually, in there. Catching the man off guard. And the bomb's actually in T-spawn. If he carries on pushing, he might just be able to cut that off. But he decides to play it safe. Just the better call, all things considered. And a nice pop flash means that Lichlord gets G&D over towards Ivy and puts it back to a 4-4. Donkey gets one, though, in the form of who else? As he tries to drop into pop. 4-3 in Royalty's favor. Does bode well for them. They don't have to spread too thin. It's always the conundrum of the CT side is if too many of you die, then there's not enough people to defend all the entry points. And it looks like Ekasi is just going to do a maneuver into middle over here. Badger holding towards stop sign with that all. And now comes out the push, and it's quite sneakily done through Ivy, and DMS gets one. Lichlord gets another. And now it's just Leggy and EXE. But Leggy and EXE is all you need, apparently, because they pick up 2. And it now puts Badger in a 1-on-1. So when things were looking good for Ekasi, they just swing right back into Royalty's favor. And EXE comes out behind Badger and manages to close out the round. These two are just destroying right now. It is an Orpus playground, and Leggy doesn't miss often. So he's got 11 and 3 and 10 for 3 on EXE. Both of them with 3 KD. Both of them with well over 100 ADR. Just stamping their presence onto this map. Even when it looks like they might be behind it, you just can't count them out. They're just too strong. Aim just too good right now. Gemini with a bit of a slow start as well, and Ekasi is not helping at the 0-1-7. Just needs to get himself out of that rut. Now they're going to push over towards Ivy with a run boost. G&D doesn't manage to connect the first shot. Ekasi has very limited utility to work with in this. Nice molly from Doobie just to slow it down. He's going to push into the smoke line. He is going to get pop flashed through, and it's going to be used against him. And it's a bit of a friendly fire situation, but Ekasi overall come out on top. What has happened in the middle of the A site? They get caught out all from Ivy. Ekasi, what have you actually done? That's mad. And now it's just EXE left all alone. In kind of horrible position. You don't really want to push through Zig in this retake. It would be better if he could come from Old Bomb even. Give him more options, because that funnel is horrible. It's really horrible through there. It's like when you get in a car and its aircon is akin to an asthmatic blowing through a straw. It's like that. It's like that amount of horrible. So he's gonna just jam it out, save the gun, but a nice swing from Ekasi on an eco as well. They have no business winning that round on paper. Royalty give up one with maybe some miscommunication. I don't actually quite know what happened there towards Ivy. But they do still force up, do Royalty. Just enough money in the bank to do so. And Ekasi break their momentum once again, and it's been so back and forth like this. So if history is to be repeated, it will be another round for Ekasi, and then Royalty will have to do something creative. EXE pushed up deep into brown holes. It's going to get really good info for his team. Nobody is there just yet. And they do a push through mid, and Leggy uncharacteristically misses a shot. Ekasi seem to be looking towards mid. Pop is a dangerous prospect with Donkey in position here. That's not really going to push him out of contention. And if they go in dry, even with a double, he can probably get the kill here. But no, the double works out. Donkey gets taken down. There is a trade from Leggy in towards Badger, so it's still a 4v4. And even though Ekasi do get a pick, they have left the bomb just a little bit far away. Doobie is right outside of the Pop angle. It's good for Pop, but not so great for any mid-main push shenanigans. But nobody's looking at B. Absolutely no information on the B bomb side for Royalty. They do get a pick in the form of DMS, but Ekasi can just walk out here for free. There's absolutely nobody here to get anything, any info, and the pin's going to drop when the bomb is planted. Now they're going to start rotating in, but it's going to be too late. Ekasi can get a really nice setup here. They can push quite deep. There's a man in the back of red. He's backed up by Lichlord. Gemini can go sit over Pop. Now they're going to hear all the men coming in, but God's not dead, and EXE do pick up the kills. So even though they get the setup, they almost throw away well, they have actually thrown the round, because it's going to be a huge task here for Gemini, who's sitting on a 1 for 8 to be able to get this. He does do quite a nice molly, which is going to waste a lot of time. Leggy gets on it, but he goes down as well. Do they have enough time here? Is the molly going to be the round winner? No, they do not have enough time, and the molly is the round winner. So even in a 1-on-4, he makes it work. Good job, Gemini. Guys going a little bit too early to go into their bomb defuse do end up burning, mistime it, and comes back to 5-5. And at least I didn't get Caster's curse, and I actually correctly predicted that they would win that round. Even though all of them die, they do actually win the round. They're okay in economy. They can buy. They are going for a timeout here, which is probably just to say, hey guys, just don't overextend. Once we've got the site, we've already got the setup. There's no reason to push that far and just be that kill hungry. Almost cost them the round. If there was a smoke on Royalty, they would have lost it 100%. But luckily for them, they opted to use it on Heaven to block the position rather than wait for it for any util on the bomb. And it works. Look, it works out for Ekasi. Gemini throws a good molly. So now we go back into the round. Badger picks up the first one in mid with a nice AWP and flash play. Royalty doesn't have that much to work with. This round should be a foregone conclusion on paper, but Doobie chiming in with a nice D headshot doesn't hurt. They do pop down and take him out. And that is a 4-3. Any damage Royalty can do here, though, is bonus, and it's going to hurt the economy of Ekasi and just bolster their own as they accumulate loss bonus and just take it into that next round. Ekasi does a mid push. They come out onto the A bomb site. There's like nothing really to receive because G&D is smoked off and the con zig area is also smoked off. So they're going to do a little boost here, our Royalty, over onto the top of the box. Nobody really to meet them. Much better setup from Ekasi, much more discipline. No over peaking. I mean, Badger's all the way back in mid-main. DMS is going to be the first one to take contact, and Leggy's going to be able to trade him out. But then who else in Badger just shut it down? GND and Leggy get taken down. And that is going to be round number 6 for Ekasi. So the match is paused. GND asking for a pause. Let's see what the reason is, because if it's not a tech pause, you really shouldn't be doing that. I don't see any notification in the chat. Let me check in with admin as to why we're sitting with a pause at the moment. Okay, it does look like they are going to continue. Probably some sort of tech issue. Dot goes in the chat. The match is unpaused and we are back underway. 6-5 to Ekasi. It is their map pick. Momentum shifts all over the place. This is more CT-sided than T-sided, all things considered. So being 6-5 up is a really good position for Ekasi. We could be seeing the third map, which is going to be Nuke, if we do manage to get there. Ekasi opens up things here in round number 12. They'll get the first kill. There's an attempt to go up pop, which results in DB dying, but EXE gets himself a kill in brown holes, and he manages to scalp an AK, which is going to help out. But Ekasi really deep here mid. Ekasi's dead over the top of them. Is he going to spot them? No. Gemini is going to be the one that takes him down. Now, the resmoke of Connector means that the Royalty guys cannot push through there without dying, more than likely. Ekasi with a nice 4-man setup here. Who else with a really deep position in towards Ivy is going to be the first one to spot these two if they do decide to go for this here. And it looks like they are going to opt to try and get some damage or something to their like. Leggy's going to be the first one to take contact. Who else takes him down? EXE does get the trade. And he's probably going to opt to rather jam the AK than try to get anything more. But DMS is going to peek into him there. Even though he throws the flash, it's not going to be enough. Does get caught out a little bit. So Ekasi take it to 7-5, 4 in a row now. The most momentum we've seen on this map so far. Decent economic position. Most of them are sitting 6k, 5, 6k, 3.8. Only who else with a 1.5. We do have another request for pause over here. Someone's net is being buggy. It does seem like a really bad day for South African internet, which is why we don't have the man Hayes here. If you are wondering, he was going to come and cast tonight. He was prepped, his shirt was washed, his hair was combed, he was in the seat, but alas, alack, we lacked internet. The pause is done. It does seem like the internets have stabilized. And the go is called, so we should be back underway here momentarily. Cool, so we're back underway. Round number 13. Let us see what we have here. Royalty does have a full buy with a double orb setup, which is good for them. Leggy has been a beast on that thing so far. It's been a Leggy EXE share, and Badger takes down Doobie. He's just consistently overextending and getting caught out, but look, EXE is so far up. Badger manages to hit him on that angle. just a pixel of his head peeking out. And the B bomb side is opened up because of that. Royalty just consistently overextending and getting punished for it. And EX and the Ekasi guys just playing it really slow and patient, and it's working out for them really nicely. They're on a 4-3, which does spread. The CT's a bit thin. They know that there's going to be a 2-1 bomb site split. And G&D in position to receive on B bomb site, but can he deal with 4 players simultaneously? They're not going to see him coming out of heaven immediately. He is on an off angle here. It's not the usual silver based solo sort of spot that we normally see. He's going to push in here though, which could be a mistake, but let's see how it goes for him. He goes for the spray, but he's flashed. He's in a mega dab. Donkey's coming up from behind, but DMS is wise to his antics, and now it's just Leggy with an AWP. He's going to decide to run away. The prowess of Ekasi and the slow, methodical, progressive plays nets them another round, and that's now their 5th in a row, taking them up to an 8-5 on the T side. I don't know how developed Royalty's attack is on this map. I haven't seen enough of them to really comment, but Ekasi's attack is really well structured, all things considered. They've done really good work here to get themselves already into the dominant round score, being 8 of 15. So another round for them. Really good bank on them now. Full loss bonus for Royalty, and even with that consideration, they still pretty broke. Like, I think they have to save this one or deco it, which is probably, yeah, they're gonna buy up a deco. So Leggy the only man with a real weapon. He is elite though. I've just noticed he's on the 1337. And so is who else? So this is the most lead round in the entirety of EGL 1 so far. Let's see who's got the lead skills. They're going to just hold W out mid. Or Royalty. Or Ekasi at least. Into Royalty at least. God's Not Dead does get the first kill. Badger is going to get the second. So a 1-for-1 trade favoring Ekasi right now. There are 4 CTs in this position. DMS takes one more out of the equation. The man outside pop. And they're set up in a trough, and sort of so are the CTs. Just got to watch out for that old bomb position. Man towards back of green is Gemini, and he's going to be able to take down God's Not Dead. Leggy does chime in with one of his own in reply. But now it's just Leggy and a 1-on-3 as Lichlord takes down Doobie. And he gets mollied for 70% of his HP. He's going to have to literally just run here. He's going to continue to receive util, and they really need to keep that AWP up. Been one of their main damage dealers so far. And he's going to just wrap around towards the back of Old Bomb. Probably just looking for exits. Is he going for it? This is a bit mad on 35 HP with an AWP versus a bunch of AKs. Knowing that you guys are kind of poor, and he's actually going to decide against it. He wraps back through Zig. He goes onto the B bomb site. He's just going to hold there. He thinks that Ekasi's coming for his weapon, but they're not. So he should survive even the bomb explosion. Oh, but wait, he's one behind. He hits Gemini, he hears him, and he does hit the shot. So he is going to keep that AWP. Just going to help as they go into the last round. But the T's with a 9-5 lead right now. Ekasi showing why they pick train. Really good attacking setup so far from them. Everything they've done has worked, or been pretty successful. To get a 9-5 against a team like Royalty, have some pretty good firepower on their team. I will say Royalty have been overextending and have been cut off because of that. Ekasi's been punishing them really nicely. And this was 5-3 at one point, so in the last couple of rounds, they basically haven't won one in. I mean, it's 6 in a row, actually, yeah, for Ekasi. Teamwork is making the dream work. And they rush out of mid now. They go for a change of pace. They just hold W, and it's going to net them. God's Not Dead, but on the cross, Doobie and Leggy are waiting with AWPs, and they pick up 3. 2 for Doobie, 1 for Leggy. That's much better for them. And then EXC chimes in with one of his own. So now it's just DMS in a 1-on-3. So it does look like Royalty will be able to close out the half with 6 rounds at least. Now, really, the roles should be reversed though. They should have 9 to Ekasi's 6. DMS gets 1. Puts himself in a 1-on-2. He might just be able to do this actually. Royalty just setting up to play patient. DMS does still have a minute on the clock, so he's got some time to play with. Doesn't have any util though. He's got big money. I bet he wish he could rebuy some right now. He's gonna go through Ivy slowly and not give up his possession. Leggy is towards stop sign checking mid, and EXE is watching his back towards that Ivy position, but if DMS rounds the corner here at just the right time, he could pick off both. They're not looking. They're not watching in this area. They're not expecting him to have made this maneuver. And now they've actually gone back inside. Oh, timing strike has not been kind to them. DMS does get the bomb plant. They are still in a 1-on-2. Both of them coming in from the Ivy or the Zig position at least. DMS gets the first one as he tries to push the back of bomb. Leggy now knows where he is. DMS going onto the top of green. Leggy forcing the issue. He's going to push in here. DMS jumps off and he gets a nice headshot. And he clutches the round for Ekasi. 10-5. So even in a 1-on-3, big round there from DMS to bring it to the 10-5. So that is the end of this half. Because it is the end of the half, I think it's time to prepare our next giveaway. So guys, EGL 1 in the chat. Nobody will give you an example if you need to see what it looks like. Please do not double entry because the bot will break your entry and then that'll suck. And if you are subscribed to the channel, it does mean that you get a double entry. We are going to be doing the EveTech Neo backpack. But getting back into the game, it is the pistol round. Now for Ekasi on the CT side, and I wasn't biting their chances very well, not starting on CT. But now they've come out of this with a 10-5, and it's a huge undertaking for Royalty. Let's see if they can take this pistol round. It'll help a lot to bring it back to an even place. But they've got to get 5 rounds just to come even on the bad side, inverted commas, of the map. They're pushing out now through Ivy. They are into middle. Doobie does pick up the first kill in the form of Badger. And they are going to be able to secure the A bomb side. Doobie gets another one in Pop Dog. There are 2 CTs towards Zig, one to the back of green. And who else does manage to pick himself up a kill? Lichlord gets one, which is going to help them. Now it's just Lichlord. And who else in a 1-on-2? Lichlord does get another one, which is going to bode absolutely fantastically. And who else? It's just going huge here. He manages to clean up the last of the T's. And the bomb was still being defused in amongst there. Lichlord had a kit. Ekasi, you monsters. That was sick. That was an incredibly good retake. They played it to absolute perfection. Who else? I think netted himself a 3k in the round. He goes up to 16 for 9, 13 for 10 on DMS. Lichlord breaking even. And on the other side, it's a Leggy, EXE, and Doobie setup. Donkey and G&D just not quite getting off the mark with 6 for 13 and 5 for 13. A quick push through mid as we get into the next round. It is a save from the Royalty team. There's a double nade that comes out, and DMS and Badger managed to take Leggy out of the round. Good setup here from Ekasi with good supporting positions. Doobie is going to start taking contact from heaven. Badger is there though to stop him. God's not dead in the mid position. He's looking towards DNS, but Gemini whacks him from the side. Hits him right in the temple. Now it's a 3-on-5. Royalty with everything to catch up on here. This is not what they want. But this is Ekasi's map pick, and this is exactly what they want. And it feels like Royalty bitten off more than they can chew here. And Ekasi is dominating so far. That is now, quick maths, 1, 2, 8 rounds in a row. And as I'm saying that, Gemini and DMS just pick off 2 more. It's not just EXE in a 1-on-5. This should be a foregone conclusion. He's going to peek for the man on top of blue. He's not going to quite connect the shot. He does take some damage for a time, and a nade comes out from Gemini that lands right at his feet. Crushes his ankles. Takes his legs out right from underneath him. And that's now 12-5 Ekasi. They've won 2 rounds in a row on CT. Look, that is how it started off for Royalty as well. Now it's the exact same position that we saw in the first half, where there's 3 SMGs and 2 rifles over on Ekasi and a full AK buy over on Royalty. Tons of util as well. They're not short-handed in any sense of the word. Huge pressure from Brown Halls. A lot of pushing here. If they die, it's going to spread their B defense a little bit thin, but the MP9s up close do also simultaneously work quite well. So we're going to see if they can turn it into a round, turn it into some kills, turn it into a round. And Donkey gets the first one onto Badger. And then pushing up to Ivy as well. Gemini gets himself a 2K. That's ideal. There is another one coming out from DMS, the MP9. The MP9s just seem to be doing the damage. And now it's just Donkey and Leggy in a 1-on... But now they get 2 kills immediately as I'm saying that. And now it's a 2-on-2. Lichlord with an MP9. Who else with an M4? Decent amounts of util on their side and 2 kits. Leggy and Donkey. 74 and 59 HP with a flash and a smoke. They do have position of the bomb, and they do have AK-47s. Lichlord hasn't heard them out because they've walked slowly over the top of B. He is looking up the top. He's realized that this might be happening. He starts to push up the ladder. He stops midway, though, as they push past. So the timing works out for Royalty for the time being. He comes in behind them and he's seen them. He's got the info. Now who else can drop out of heaven and start pushing in towards the B bomb site? Donkey's going to go for the plant, but he's left out in the open. They don't know Lichlord is there, and he manages to get the kill. And that sets up the round win because there's not enough time. Ekasi just so good on the info plays. Lichlord big braining them with the pop push. And with the time ticking down, manages to steal the round away. So 13-5 now to Ekasi. This is that dominant play that I was talking about. I mean, they're now sitting 10 rounds unanswered. Royalty really need to change something up, and being on a full, well, not even a force, a full basically deco with an AK spare is not the way you're going to do it. Who else gets the first kill for Ekasi? G&D does a sneaky push through the smoke and catches Gemini off guard. He gets the first. Now they've got some mid presence and a couple more guns to play with. And he gets another one in the form of Badger. DMS replies onto Leggy. Who else does a good push through Ivy to pick up a kill? Now it's just EXE and Doobie in a 2-on-3. EXE gets a nice semi-wallbang actually through the edge of the wall there. And Doobie gets another one. So now it's a 2-on-1. DMS in a clutch position once again. He did clutch it out the last time. Doobie is going to get caught out, and EXE is extremely low. He knows he's around. He's not overextending. He is maybe a little bit onto the other side. And he pushes around, and EXE is in position and hits a nice shot. Whew, Royalty must be breathing a sigh of relief there. They break the 10-round streak and pick up their 6th. But it's 13-6 in favor of Ekasi. But even with that 3 in a row, Ekasi is broke. They actually don't have any money. And with Royalty's loss bonus and everything else considered, they managed to pick up some AK. So this could be a chance for them to turn this into at least a 13-8. And then if they can win the next buy, they're back in it with a chance. But the way Ekasi is playing, it's going to be a tall order. Ekasi goes with a huge RV push here. They realize that nobody's in mid due Royalty, but do they know that they're getting pushed up from behind? The first responder is going to be Leggy using an AWP, which is less than ideal. You don't want to be this close proximity against pistols. He switches out to the Glock, but Doobie is there to help him. And they do slow down the push with a bunch of mollies. Another one goes down in the form of who else? Now it's just Lichlord, and they do manage to come out of it actually quite clean. Only Doobie goes down. So that's what you want. You want a 4-man bomb plant surviving round, or 4-man survival with the bomb plant. So that helps. Ekasi don't have quite enough money to buy, so they are going to just deco up, which is definitely the right move considering the amount of money they have. I'd like to see them with a double AWP setup for the next round. Train being one of those maps where B and A have a bunch of long angles. But Royalty shoved through mid. There's a molly to try and slow them down, but they do not care. They just keep holding W, and they are going to be able to get onto the bomb site. Ekasi in the interim, one of them was in Zig, but he gets taken down, so DMS is out of this round, and the rest of their team is hovering over Pop. So they are going to start pushing down there. One man is going to return to Zig. Who else? Who's going to come in from the other side? But the rest of the players are going to play from Pop and from the T-spawn area, so a little bit of a role reversal because of how the push went down. Doobie and Leggy picking up the first 2 kills. Lichlord with a nice CZ manages to get 1. GND picks up Gemini and Pop. So now it's just Lichlord that they need to find, and they're going to try and force it, which is the better option because there is a juicy AWP sitting there, but it doesn't matter because Lichlord is going to get 2 kills. That's good damage, all things considered. I kind of hoped he would take that AK and make a run for it, but he just decides to reach so high. And it looks like we are ready for the giveaway roll. So without further ado, production, hit that bot roll up and let us throw the dice down the alleys of fate. Full buys on both sides as we go into this now, though. We have Ekasi with 1 AWP and AUG, 3 M4s, and Royalty 4 AKs actually, and an AWP. They're posturing here in B halls. The short is going to spot them out on the shoulder peak. He does molly for ramp immediately. A messy fight into Pop, which goes Gemini's way. GND getting stuck on the ladder. It's a little too attached. Overly attached ladder, overly attached girlfriend. Ekasi pull back onto the sites. Do a cheeky little boost on the A site to make sure someone's up high. But in the interim, Royalty is pushing out onto the B bomb site. Donkey is going to be able to get the plant. There's a man pushing up far deep, almost behind red is Doobie. And his other 3 teammates are all sitting in the heaven position, but Lichlord pushes him out. Doobie gets a shot on who else? EXE gets 1, Gemini gets 1. So it's a 2v3 now. And EXE caught out in the middle of no man's land. Means that it's going to be Leggy in that 1v3, but Badger's trained on the angle for heaven where he was, and it is going to be another round for Ekasi. So sort of almost down to prediction, 14-8. Do Ekasi find themselves in? Now as we head into round 23, we've got a force buy coming out from Ekasi. We're MP9, which is kind of weird because they did win the round. They do have some money, but Royalty is just going to decide to hold W through mid, and it's actually going to net them a 2v2 trade. And make that a 3v2 now as Dewey gets another one. Leggy is in position to plant the bomb, but nobody's covering him. And the man stops on who else? He's going to be able to get 2. So it swings back from a 3v2 to a 2-on-1, and Cosent's only got 9 HP. Badger trained on the angle, but he gets headshot. Oh no. They could have won that round. Oh, Ekasi's going to be kicking themselves if they look at that. If they watch that back on the replay. But Royalty is going to be breathing a sigh of relief. And congratulations to Angry Monkey for winning that Eve Tech Neo backpack. Please do contact our admin guys. Nobody, he'll be able to sort you out with shipping details and make sure that that prize then gets sent out to you. So that's all we have prize-wise for today, but there's plenty more action coming because by the looks of things, Ekasi is going to be taking this to map 3. Leggy does get a first kill as there is a push coming out from Ivy. They do have a pretty decent buy. Donkey and EXE on Galil and Mac 10. And Ekasi with a save, but they do have a 5-round lead. So So they can save this one and even save the next and accrue some last round bonus and then do another big buy. Trying to be sneaky around here, but it's not going to work out. But Badger is going to work out, and he gets G&D. EXE pushes around from CT spawn and makes sure that the lurk position is cut off. Badger does net himself an AK. There's more going on inside as Donkey and Leggy take down Gemini and Lichlord. And Badger now, the last one left, is going to save this AK, which is really nice to have on the CT side. Royalty doing a much better job here on the anti-eco. They string 2 rounds together. This is quite good for them because out of the last 5 rounds, or last 6 rounds, they'll have won 5, which is much better momentum-wise for them. And even the round they lost, they managed to get a bomb plant. So there was still money even accruing from that. And then they actually managed to pick up the last man as well. So Ekasi has a complete reset, no AKs saved. Royalty with a full buy, still a Galil over on Donkey. And Ekasi decides to go for the buy. They're a little short on util. They do have decent weaponry. Org, 2 M4s, Famous, and AWP. To the Galil, 3 AK and AWP setup on Royalty. They're playing a heavy brown halls setup here, or Royalty on the start of the round, looking for anybody pushing out from Ekasi, but Ekasi's not giving them anything. DMS holding pop. The short alone here with a FAMAS, not the best weapon to be solo holding the site. And then the rest of Royalty are just sitting in mid here, waiting for a pick or some sort of info to come out. GND fishing on B, looking for some sort of kill, but now his teammates do start pushing into the mid area. They gotta be careful of the man in pop. Who else is gonna go down? And Gemini is gonna get one. DMS gets one of his own. Gemini gets another. Gemini gets taken down then by EXE. And Royalty turn it into a 2-on-2. Now it's just Lichlord and Badger to clutch against the 2 best players, EXE and Leggy. And EXE just swings out towards Ivy and almost gets himself killed. Lichlord in the interim does manage to pick off Leggy. EXE then trades Lichlord out, so now it's a 1-on-1. It'll be the clutch ace from EXE if he gets it, and he is going to get the ace and push himself to 27 for 13. When they're behind 11 to 14, he is doing a huge amount of lifting. He's taken Arnold Schwarzenegger's blood straight into the brain. And it's turned into disgusting aim. 27 for 13, man. I mean, it's just crushing at the moment. 97 ADR. The dude is on fire. You do not mess with EXE. He's just too solid. He's just too solid right now. Leggy even 23 for 15, helping out a lot. We did have a pause there. So Ekasi can reassess their position, because of the last 7, they've only won 1. It's been 3 punctuated by a defuse and then another 3 rounds, albeit messy, so Royalty doesn't have the best bank. But Ekasi needs to get the setup just a little bit better. They're so close to closing out this map on 14 rounds. There is going to be a B-Halls push, which is not going to be spotted out here initially. And they're going to push right into Donkey and Doobie and EXE, and they pick off all 3 of them. There is some trades in the interim, and then another kill in mid. Now it's just Leggy in a 1-on-3. He does have the bomb, but he's got an AWP. He's going to start trying to push through mid, but DMS is going to be there. And all 3 of the enemy players have AK-47s. They're also going to play passive, and Gemini should be the first one to spot him out, and he is, and Leggy misses the shot, so Gemini takes him down. So a nice round there, a nice anti-eco, or a nice eco round from Ekasi. Royalty messing up the anti-eco, get caught out there. So one more round, and this looks like it's going to be map 3. Ekasi showing why you don't play them on Nuke, or on Nuke, on Train. We're going to Nuke next. You just don't play Ekasi on Train. Their teamwork is just too good. All of them pretty much equal on the scoreboard, except for Badger bringing up the rear. He's having a bit of a tough game there on 11 for 21, but it doesn't really matter. They're up 15-11. It's just this round left. And because of that, Royalty put on a really weird bar. 2 Mac 10s, 2 AKs, and an SG. Decent util to work with on both teams. But you just got to favor Ekasi in this position because they've been winning gun rounds more often than not. And even pulling off some upsets with those ecos. Just no info there on the brown horse position, and a fluffed spray was all it took. Now Royalty posturing towards B. They do the shove. They're going to catch Lipslord with util in hand, but he's still going to get the kill. He gets a second. How does he pull that off? Doobie's going to be kicking himself after that. They're still in the 3-on-3, and they do still have the bomb site here, though. But Ekasi with a ton of util, an AWP organ AK in hand. Badger is going to pick up the first kill, so that's not ideal. EXE goes for perhaps a foolish peek and gives Badger a second. And now it's just G&D, and he is in a right position, but he gets taken out by DMS on the 180, and that is going to be map 2 going the way of Ekasi Esports. So it seems our initial admin predictions of this being a 2-1 setup. Josh, you can hold your head high. Dean, go and cry in the corner. The rest of you, do stay with us, because when we come back, we are going on to Nuke. And this is a more CT-sided setup once again. So I would like to say that I think Royalty might take this one, but with how close it's been, it's anybody's guess. Anyway, guys, do stay with us. We'll be back with map 3. See you then. And welcome back to this lower bracket round 2 game between Royalty and Ekasi Esports. It's just gone 1-1 with both of them taking their own map picks. Royalty won the first, Inferno 16-12, and Ekasi has shown why you do not play them on train with a 16-11 and some pretty impressive plays, especially on the T side. Their executes and stuff were really good. So now we have to knife for sides for map 3 because we are going to Nuke. So honestly, based on this setup, whoever wins this knife is probably going to take CT and then be primed to take the map and the match. And this is actually the first time we've had a full 3 map best of 3 on the stream. So a very close game. But yeah, Ekasi, guys, you got to watch out for these Oaks on train. They have some serious tricks up their sleeve. And even on Inferno, they were showing some really good momentum until Royalty almost like warmed up. Even that being said, I mean, the last map EGC went huge. He finished on like 28 for 14, 2 KD. But the rest of his team, and Leggy was also chiming in, actually doing quite a lot of work. Quite a lot of overextension from Royalty though. I think Ekasi played well to catch them off on that with their patient play. And really good teamwork all around from them. If you looked at their scores at the end of the game, there was no head and shoulders player above the rest. Only Badger really was trailing in KD, but the rest of his team were in the mid-20s, and all of them like almost the same. And that's honestly why they won that map, was just superior teamwork. So the guys are busy readying up though as we speak, and we, like I say, they are going to have to knife for sides. So it's going to create quite an interesting situation, because this is so CT dominant right now is Nuke, and it sort of in a lot of ways always have been. And especially when the rework came in on the vents and you couldn't exit onto the B bomb site directly, and you actually have to go around like that or around the bottom, it does mean that it becomes a lot harder to do drop plays and those sorts of shenanigans. Outside control can be gained by the T's if they've got a good smoke setup. There are a couple of smoke wall setups. We have seen some really mean ones earlier in the week, so we're going to see if they can emulate, or who can emulate that the best. But if you have to play defaults and you have to play this in a pug manner, it's definitely a CT sided map. So it does look like the guys are readying up. We're just waiting for one by the looks of things. Are we sure to play? No, it's just the bots adding onto my scoreboard over here. But Brad, not the best addition. His time in the Big Brother house has left him mentally scarred, and it makes it aiming very difficult. Big bad Brad, for those that have forgotten. But yeah, look, I mean, I think Royalty, all things considered, even if they start on T side, they actually should take this map, because on paper they have the stronger team, as we've seen with guys like EXE, even in a losing game, nearly 30 bombing against his opponents. But this is a team game. And that's where Ekasi has shown that even in the short time that they have been together, they just have better cohesion and a better setup. And Lichlord has been, I think, a really good addition from them. His mid-round calls have been quite on point so far. So, knife round is starting in 3, 2, 1. I know it's sacrilege to cast it, so I'm going to do the Nick Bot methodology of casting here and let the stabbing commence. Come on, guys, please start stabbing. There we go. And a stab and another stab, and then a stabby stab, and then a break, and then some more stabbing, and then a bit of a break and some running around, and then some more stabbing, and then some more stabbing. And the best stabbers were Royalty, so they are going to 100% stay. There's no question. Yep, they .ct in the chat. So the first round is going to go live with Royalty on the CT side, Ekasi Esports on the T's. Let's see how this will go down. Royalty is going to kick things off with EXE buying a kit and 2 flashes. The rest of them are going to buy armor. And then on the other side, it's going to be Lichlord, who buys a nade, flash, smoke. And we are going to have a full armor setup with Gemini having a decoy. The T's start their progression towards the outside, and actually it looks like they're going to go with a lobby hit here onto the top side. Donkey's going to be in position to pick up one from Mount. He gets it through the smoke as well. And it's actually the bomb dropped, but now they drop down into vents to Ekasi with the bomb, and it's Lichlord who's going to be steaming his way onto the B bomb side. Leggy drops down from heaven and manages to catch Badger, who was coming out of Shack at that point in time. DMS in Mount is going to get picked off by Doobie, and now it's going to be a 4 and 2, and they're going to drop into vents, but they're going to find Gemini here ready and waiting with 20 bullets, and he's going to pick up a 3k. Now it's just EXE left in a 1-on-2. He knows where the man is, but he misses the shots, and Lichlord doesn't, so he's going to be able to get a kill. Gemini with a really nice play in the vents there, picking himself up a 3k and taking the first round for Ekasi, which does bode well for their T side. I think if they can come out of it with 6 rounds, they should actually be in position to win it. Royalty needs 10-5 or more, I would say, and then winning the pistol round will put them in a position to close out the map. So they're going to do a full deco, no armor or anything of the sort, and alternatively on the other side of Ekasi they've got 2 Mac 10s, 2 AKs, and a Galil. So they should shenanigans happen, which has been a frequent occurrence in the EGL 1. Couple of Royalty players pushed up here into the comms room, into the radio room. Just posturing, a lot of posturing in the lobby. And Lichlord is going to be the first one to get Doobie. And now the push is going to come through the hut and through Squeaky Door area, and Donkey's waiting on top. He gets 1. They get 2. Does EXE and God's Not Dead? That's absolutely catastrophic. And now there's another man up behind him. The Deagle shenanigans continue. 2 left for Royalty. 1 in Lichlord. He does have an AK, but his teammates' guns have been traded out, and he does drop onto the B bomb site. He fakes out the rotation, but he really should be pushing in here to plant, methinks. And now both of the Royalty players are going to be coming in from the secret area. He's on the cutoff angle. He peeks out, he gets the first, and then God's Not Dead trades him. So the CTs pull off a really miraculous round, all things considered, and manage to pull it back. And that's catastrophic for Ekasi. They're broke beyond belief. And Royalty now can force up around the guns that they have bought. And now it's going to be a deco on the alternate end. So the momentum shift immediately happens in round 2. A huge nade coming out. Doesn't actually... just doesn't clip them. Badger takes 19. It looked like it was going to be really nasty. But they managed to dodge it, and now they're going with a full outside play. They do have the smoke wall, which helps them get into secret. All 5 players now rushing down into this area. Donkey on the angle. What can he do? He starts to spray. He gets some damage in. No kills yet, though. As they carry on pressuring him, he leaves the squeaky door open. Or does he? No, he closes it behind him. And that's going to be the bomb. And he manages to secure it in a really bad position for Ekasi. A really good position for Royalty. Really nice work from him. And Leggy and EXE chime in for their own. DMS comes out of the doorway. He does manage to pick up Donkey, but then gets traded out immediately by Leggy. So a nice clean round there from Royalty. Ekasi now pushed solidly onto the back foot. They're put into a full save position. They do have a 2-round loss bonus, but just Glocks for them. And alternatively, over on Royalty's side is looking quite healthy. All of them on rifles except for EXE, who's stuck on an MP9. So this should literally be a foregone conclusion. If they do a 5-man push outside, God's Not Dead is on the long angle with the AK-47. And he's going to get the info and decide to pull back, and Donkey's here in the mouth position. He gets 1. He pulls back even further. Leggy chimes in with some support. They manage to pick up another 2, and it is going to be a clean sweep with God's Not Dead picking up a 3k and Leggy getting the 2k. So they stack up some cash, which they're going to be quite happy about. A nice 3 in a row for them. Pretty cleanly done the last 2 rounds. Only 1 player going down. But Ekasi with a reply bar. Now with a full AK setup. Does look like they're going to favor the outside positions once again. They go with quick smokes and quick pressure into red. They don't quite have a full wall off. Is there going to be a gap there? No, it actually works out. So they do get down, not without taking a significant amount of damage. Gemini and who else on like 2 HP. They do manage to get leggy as they go through though. Now they should be able to wrap around the lower radio room here. Really on site. And God's not dead on the angle to support here. He's going to pick up the first kill. He gets himself a second on Badger, which is really nice for them. Puts him back into a 4-3. Maybe even less than that with Gemini and the whole 3 HP, 2 of their players in towards the vents area. Some team damage coming out from Royalty, but Doobie gets the first kill onto DMNS. Gemini gets one onto Doobie. Then EXE with a trade onto Gemini. Now it's just the man, Lichlord, in the side, and he doesn't manage to stop the bomb defuse as it was happening, and they do manage to pick it up. EXE pushes through the smoke and dies on the after of that. But the round does go the way of Royalty. 2 of them getting through the round. They still got pretty good bank. EXE with a full buy and still 5k, 8k on their 2 top, being Donkey and God's Not Dead. Top 3 players on Royalty now, 5-3, 6-1, 6-3, so they're doing very well. But it's just Gemini and Lichlord on the other side. Badger with another slow start. Just seems to really be stuck in it. Something just not quite gelling for him. And a huge nade here does a good 60 damage. Does Doobie with that nade. He's going to get pressured as they push through and they dink him up. He's on 2 HP immediately, and who else is going to be able to get the kill? And they take ramp control. Who is here to respond? There's actually nobody. They've got to come down through the vents. There is Leggy now on the angle from the squeaky door, but he's going to get more lead out of position. And Ekasi have the bomb site and really good post plant positions. God's Not Dead is coming in from the after. EXE and Donkey put in good work to get 2 kills. Leggy follows up with one of his own, and it just falls apart. Even when Ekasi had the setup, Royalty come in and clean house. And they get 4 players through the round. That being said, with the loss bonus and with the buy, the average income, the average money right now is 6k on Ekasi, so they will be able to buy. Royalty with no money woes at all of their own. God's Not Dead only dying once. Most of them having died 3 times. But good kills and a good spread amongst the rounds of when they did go down means that they've got like an average of 5k, 6k let's say, on their players, which is really good. So coming into round number 7, it's a bigger one for Ekasi than it is for Royalty. They go for the smoke setup, but it doesn't work out when God's Not Dead just sprays through the smoke and gets the damage. They are down now into secret, but it's Leggy on the angle. He's going to get mollied off by Badger. He's going to have to retreat. He takes about 50 damage for his troubles. He smokes it off. So they can't really push through Squeaky into him there. He's going to take a little bit more damage from them there. He doesn't even. He's come in, but it doesn't do much. DMS starts spamming for the upper position. They are all around this B bomb site. They do have good positions for this. Lichlord actually still in lobby with his teammates. They are still on the top of A, and they convert it. They go back up onto A. This is really well done, but there's EXE there, and he's going to just get a 3-man spray down and close out the round. There was only one more man to contest with, but it just happens to be the best aimer so far on Royalty's team, and everybody minus Doobie on Royalty just destroying at the moment. All of them with 2 KD pretty much. 8 on God's Not Dead, only 1 for him. It does look like we're going into another tech pause here. And so far, Royalty with a really dominant CT side, only losing the pistol round. If I count up their kills since then, or their deaths since then, round 2 was an eco that they won with 1 player surviving. But I mean, since then, the worst round they've had is with 2 people coming through. And it does look like we have had a man drop on Ekasi's side. So he's just going to do a little recon as DMS. Royalty just with a bit more prowess here and all around seemingly better map knowledge. Kasi being a little bit predictable, doing the smoke ball 3 times in a row and it not working out really for them. I'd like to see a little bit of a change of pace. Maybe they do a top A hit, break the door, smoke off mouth, flash out from Hudson and from Squeaky, and maybe try hit it that way. Could be a little bit different from them. They do need to worry about the rafters though, because EXE's been sitting on the rafters right above the hut area. But it looks like everybody's, well, at least on Royalty is good. They're just waiting for DMS to reconnect. There he comes now. So, quick look at the scores. Badger on a James Bond. Who else? 1 for 8. DMS on 2 for 7. Really, Lichlord and Gemini have been doing the heavy lifting on Ekasi's end. Inversely on Royalty, all of them pretty much popping off. Just Dubie in that kind of support position on a 2 for 4. Huge amount of bank on the side of Royalty. We're just trying to get the match underway as it was. Okay, so we're going to have to reload the map here quickly, is the plan. So we just need to wait for, or reload the round. We just need to wait for the freeze time to pass, and then we'll be able to reset it just so that everybody has their weapons and money, etc., as they had it before. Oh wow, the PP function only works in freeze time, and you need to wait for the freeze time to do the reload. So we're gonna have to do some creative accounting over here to get this thing back. But if you guys have just joined us, just to recap. Oh, there we go. Now it seems to be working. But if you guys have just joined us, it is 1-1. Royalty taking Inferno 16-12. Ekasi taking their pick train 16-11. And now we find ourselves on the deciding map, Nuke, where so far Royalty has been dominant, on the more dominant side. 6-1 up. Ekasi need to get 5, I'd say 6 rounds is ideal. 5 is sort of minimum. Anything less than that and you lose the pistol on T side and you're in a lot of trouble. So round 8 commences here, and it looks like they're going to put pressure on the T's from the lobby area at least. They're going to go for a top flash play. They come out of the hut. The first 2 kills go the way of Royalty. The next 2 go the way of Ekasi. Gemini getting himself a 2k. A failed molly from DMS into heaven means that they can't actually quite push out and get onto the site now. But they have smoked up mouth. So it's very difficult for the CTs to push in from that area. And all 3 of them are actually going to go for the mouth push. Badger kills Gemini. That's not what you want. And then Doobie kills Badger. Badger switching teams there momentarily, but DMS gets a mean 2k to put it back to a 1-on-1. And now it's just Leggy versus him. And Leggy does manage to get the kill. He does a good little pop flash. But that's the closest they've been to winning a round so far. And if it wasn't for that TK, maybe they actually could have turned that one. A bit of BM there from Leggy. DMS did have them shooketh momentarily. 7-1 now in favor of Royalty. Ekasi can do a buy. -1 on Badger. So 007. We got to come up with a new thing for -1 for 8. Josh will assist you thereon in the chat. Royalty with a commanding position. 7 in a row. 10k in there, some of their banks after the buy. Equally heavy lifting across the board. Donkey with the big ADR. 138. Only real positive on the side of Ekasi being Gemini with a 1.14 and a 95. So onward we get with round number 9. And it's an outside push, and two of them are going over the top, and Gemini is going to catch out Donkey by doing so as he drops down. Godnot's dead, gets a trade from the outside position, but it does look like they'll be able to take the A bomb site. They turn it into a 3-on-3 amidst the chaos, and Lichlord gets another one to turn it into a 2-on-3. They do have the A bomb side, but DB is coming in around the top, and he's going to be able to take down who else, which now turns it into a 2-on-2. Albeit with G&D on 19 HP and DB on 46, so 2 bullets for G&D, one for G&D and 2 for Doobie, and that's going to be the round. Lichlord and Badger do still have possession of the bomb. One of them is in vents. Lichlord and Badger is pushing up the ramp area. He's going to run into Doobie momentarily, and he's going to be able to get the kill, which now means that God's Not Dead on 19 HP from the outside position needs to do a clutch, and a really difficult one at that, all things considered, especially when Lichlord has vents control. He's going to push down towards the ramp area, but this really should be a round going the way of Ekasi Esports, unless G&D can do something huge on 19 HP in the M4A1S. Surprised actually he's playing with the M4A1S. I haven't seen too many people picking it up these days. He comes creeping into the site here. He does have a kit, which will help him. Badger on the small squeaky door. Lichlord more towards secret and recovery. And as he tries to drop down onto the site, Badger is aware, has heard him out, gets the kill. And that's going to be their second. So they break a 7-round win streak from Royalty. And Ekasi finally gets some money to work with. They are going to be able to get another full buy going. Royalty just still huge money in the bank. Actually, it does actually get whittled down quite low, to be honest. Only 6k and 4k on EXE and G&D respectively. As T's take the lobby control, not much presence towards the outside area. It looks like they've got 2 guys behind the silo who are going to start throwing some util for the top site. It does look like it is going to be another top push. So here comes that shove. He's going to be EXE to reply, and he gets himself a 3k off the back foot. Lichlord does manage to trade one out. God's Not Dead gets a kill of his own. But now Lichlord is going to get a 3k in reply to EXE's 3k. So even when it looked like things were going well, they just turned it around. And then it was Lichlord in a 1-on-2, but he gets taken down by Donkey. So even when the push sort of normalized and Lichlord was able to get a 3k reply to EXE's 3k, now pushes himself onto 13 for 6. This guy's just a monster. He's just breaking EXE over his knee. Badger with a 1 for 9, so he's positive. It's good to see you, Badger. Welcome to the game. Now Ekasi put in position on an eco where they are going to look to push lobby and towards B. And it's going to be Doobie on the angle. It hasn't been having the best of games. Let's see what he can do here. He goes for a spray. He doesn't manage to get too much damage. He's going to have to retreat. He does a nice little pop flash, but he does now pick up a 2k. And there is God's Not Dead chiming in with one of his own. And just Lichlord in reply. They're going to try and push down onto the side to get a point. DMS fakes it out. Leggy just halts W with the AWP and kills him. And EXE picks up the last. And that's a 4-man survived round. No bomb plant for Ekasi. So it's going to restore some of that economic advantage that Royalty had before. It puts them on a 9-2. So they've already more or less secured the half. 10 is ideal. But on 11 rounds out of 15 being played, only 4 left in it. Big ask here for Ekasi. They need 4. I'd say 5 at least, actually, to put in one here. They do have a full buy-in now. A lot of presence towards outside. They take control, and DMS picks up the first kill onto Leggy, which is the way you want to start things off. Donkey is in a good position here in mouth. And the first swing is going to be who else, and he's going to get taken down, and Donkey gets a second, and EXE gets a third, which means that it's only DMS and Badger left. Badger's having a tough game as it is. DMS not faring too much better on 5 for 11. Badger gets dinked up as he goes through the outside area. God's Not Dead does throw a flash and then start to retreat. I really like this play from Royalty, not giving away anything, even when they are ahead, just pulling back into the sights as you should. And Badger going to look to go for the cross. He's going to get spotted out by G&D. He's going to tap at him and not quite get the kill. He does do a pop flash. Could have actually probably peeked on and killed Badger. Badger is only on 90 HP, but he probably doesn't know that. He's going to finally get the kill and secure the kill that he started off earlier. And he's going to swing out and kill DMS as well. Royalty just massively dominant right now on the CT side. 15-6 on EXE. 13-4 on G&D. I really like how their names work out, honestly. It's quite nice. It's rhythmic. And the terrorists are going to call a timeout, if not a little bit late. At this point, being down 10-2, they have to win all 3 to give themselves just a little bit of breathing room. Because if you go in with only 2 rounds, if you lose the pistol on the CT side, you're basically done for. So let's see if they can muster something here. They've got a weird buy happening, a big force here with 2 MAC-10s, 2 AKs, and a Deeg on Badger. And Royalty have converted 3 AKs to their side, an M4 and an AWP. I'm saying that like in a cringe manner because it's going to be painful. And here comes a top rush. They just hold W outside of the pit. They do manage to take down EXE as he gets who else. They're going to re-smoke the mouth. They're going to plant the bomb. There is a man in the smoke there. They do spam in for it. The one-way smoke in heaven for Royalty, which is very nice for their retake, but a good smoke comes out from Ekasi to stop that. Now it's all smoke. They're going to have to push through there. Royalty just taking their time. They've all got kits. There's no reason not to. Now the retake comes in. One jumps in. GB gets taken out. God's Not Dead gets Lich Lord. Gemini gets Donkey. God's Not Dead trades Badger again. Now it's a 2-on-2. They know that that there's one man in hut, but the man towards Squeaky is going to be the problem child, and they're going to be able to pick up the round. DMS getting both from the hut position does mean that they secure their third. If they can now get the next one, it would be helpful, but with all of them dying, they're going to have to do another weird buy. Royalty just not put in the same position. They have huge money. They're going to stack their guns in util. They don't have much for the next round. Ekasi does have some loss bonus, but that is going to be final round. They're going to try and just do it again. Here comes the push once again. They're just going through the mollies, but getting flashed. It does mean that one of them will burn to death. And EXE is going to pick himself up 2 kills as the push comes in. And now they decide rather to drop into the vents, which is a bit of a better position for them. 2-on-4 though are Ekasi with a MAC-10 AK and Slim util. They will get a bomb plant, which means that they will have something to buy in the last round. And G&D is being merciless and taking out Badger. Now DMS in the middle of sight in a 1-on-3. EXE does have a util, and so does Doobie actually, to deal with that molly. They check all the corners, and EXE is going to start the defuse on the M4, but he gets taken out, and then Leggy trades immediately. So Doobie is going to be able to get an easy defuse, and that is going to be the 11-3. Ekasi desperately need this last round. They do have a little bit of money in the bank. They can buy up some weapons. Royalty in a commanding position, however. They're looking to continue on in this tournament because the loser of this map is going home empty-handed. And the winner is going to see them placed into the top 8 teams. So they will have a shot at money. The top 5 of this tournament getting a shot at 50,000 Rand. God's Not Dead starts things off though in this round, and he gets the first kill. Badger manages to get a trade. There's a man to mouth who's pressuring them. DMS close on the angle. This does favor Ekasi massively though, because Leggy's low. There's only 3 of them left. 2 of them are AWP, so retakes are going to be hard. Ekasi has 4. AK is still alive. And the top bomb site. They've pushed in through mouth and taken control of this area. Bomb is going to go down. They do have some util, some flashes and stuff for the post plant. But pushing in with 2 AWPs is already difficult enough. And Gemini just makes it that much more difficult as he takes down Doobie. So one almost looking like a foregone conclusion. Leggy is going to get taken out here by Lexlord 100%. And now it's just EXE. He is the man to do it, but he does get flashed out. And he does a 360 into the site for the YOLO mid-solo, but he is going to get taken down by DMS. So the Ekasi do secure that 4th round. So the pause does work out for them. They at least get 4. But Royalty with a commanding lead there. EXE with a massive 21 for 9. He's just being this head and shoulders above the rest. Really good util damage as well. He's just doing everything right, man. He's just so solid right now. And boy, Ekasi with 2 players just on a slow start. Who else in Badger just struggling. They need to win this pistol round. This is critical for them in their hopes to carry on. But the T's are going to be shoving through the top. Straight out of the hut they come. They eat a nade and one goes down. Nobody else taking significant damage from it, however. The CT is set up for a 5-man retake. Who else pushing in from the lobby area could get taken down early, but he manages to get himself a 2k. That works out absolutely fantastically for him. Now it's a 5-on-3, but EXE and Donkey have something to say about it. Badger gets one. Gemini fluffs a shot. Donkey turns and rips his head off. And now it's just DMS in a 1-on-1, but he gets the kill, and he's got a kit. And that is going to be the round for Ekasi Esports. They get the round they needed. Puts them down 5-11. But that's how you start off the CT side. And it's a nice little 2 in a row for them. So maybe they can start building on that and generate some momentum. So we're heading to round 2 of this half. Ekasi have 3 FAMAS, 2 MP9s and a good util spread. Just going to net them the first kill onto Doobie. God's Not Dead and Donkey are also very, very low. 34 and 46 HP. They're going onto the cross here in the middle of no man's land, and DMS and Badger are going to say thanks. We'll take that. And now it's just Leggy left. In a 1-on-5, all the CTs don't even take a damage yet. They actually get a completely clean round, not a point of damage coming out from Royalty, which is ideal for them. But this is the critical turning point round where Ekasi have full buys with AKs, or at least Royalty have full buys with AKs, and Ekasi sitting still in their 3 FAMAS and 2 MP9s. They do have the better util, but less firepower. So they're going to have to play some closer angles to benefit those MP9s. And the FAMAS as well is not the greatest, especially at long range. You sometimes need 3 hits, even if you do headshot to kill, as that damage drops off. It looks like Royalty is going to set up for an outside push here. They're going to do the smoke wall and try and run down Secret, which I quite like. EXE takes a boatload of damage in the interim and gets put down onto 36 HP. And the smoke wall is out, and the push commences. But it's a fake. It's a ruse. They're going to go towards ramp instead, and it's just Litchfield here on the advanced angle. He manages to get 1 kill, but he gets traded out immediately by EXE. And now ramp is theirs for the taking. There are 2 players down on the B side already. One of them gets taken out by God's Not Dead. It's who else who gets his head ripped off. And now there's only 1 man left on the site, and he gets killed. So the other 2 CTs, DMS and Badger, now I have to rotate in. Badger is on the ramp angle. I don't think he's been sort of known that he's here. And the T's haven't planted the bomb yet. They just do still have 30 seconds with which to play. Not much util left. Just a couple of flashes. Not much HP left either. DMS and Badger are actually nowhere near this. Perhaps it's big brain though, because Royalty is overthinking things by the looks of it, and are coming up right into DMS's crosshair, and he's going to get the first, and EXE should not peak on that HP. He is anyway. Now it's going to be a one-on-one as Donkey and Badger are going to be put in this position. He goes for the straight plant. Badger comes out of hut and manages to get the round. So they pull it back to a 7-11. Do Ekasi Esports. 3 in a row bodes really well for them here. Royalty now on a save. They overthought it. They overthunk themselves and sunk their hopes of winning that round. Now they're on what should be a bit of a formality round. They do a default sort of spread out. 3 players towards the outside area. There's a man on top of hut to watch mouth, and another one in the back of the garage area. So if they do drop down, DMS is going to have some pretty easy kills by the looks of things. Royalty do open the scoreboard up though, with God's Not Dead getting kill on Badger in secret. They're not too aware of DMS here. They aren't checking it, so this is going to be the first kill for him. See if he can turn it into a second. Lichlord getting pressured, getting put low, but DMS is there to support, so he gets another kill. Now it's a 4-on-3 in the favor of Ekasi. Lichlord quite low. God's Not Dead brought low, 2 HP. He does have an AWP though, so he can still one and done. EXE manages to get a trade out. EXE still taking shots towards DMS, who he then kills. Leggy drops bomb though in lowers on B, so now the bomb in the possession of Ekasi. Doesn't mean EXE is pretty much going to have to fight for it almost solo, because G&D has only got 2 HP with which to play, so a stray bullet, hell, a stray piece of llama spit is going to take him out. Who else does get a really nice shot onto him, and he flicks over to God's Not Dead. Hits him in the face anyway, applying some of that 7.62 dental. And Ekasi bring it back to an 8-for-11 with a 5 in a row. Their CT-sided setups are just really, really good, and right now on Royalty side, it's EXE carrying pretty much. G&D chiming in as well, 19-11. EXE with a 26-for-13 though. His mouse hand is very powerful. Let's put Royalty in the position that they are in. But Royalty need to start getting some rounds on the board. 4 in a row. Loss is not ideal. While it's been scrappy and they've done good damage to the economic situation of Ekasi, they're not in a great position themselves, even with the loss bonus. The winner of this round should get 2 on the trot. Ekasi with a really aggressive outside push and setup. Does mean that there's going to be DMS on the angle. He's going to wait. Badger gets a kill. EXE trades. They are going to go for the cross. Lichlord is going to get in good damage as they are on the cross. And I'm a little bit surprised by DMS that he didn't look to get some damage in there. Maybe didn't see them through the smoke, but it's not going to matter when Gemini is popping off like that along with Lichlord and who else. It's a quick cleanup. And Ekasi get their 5th in a row, and with only 1 death on a full bar from Royalty. Actually, with the loss bonus, Royalties actually can force here. They decide to do a timeout, which I think is a good time to do it, as they're looking at another buy. Gemini tosses an AWP over the wall. They're not looking to do a double AWP setup. Ekasi. Interestingly enough. But Royalty, they need to find a hole. They need to find a gap. And they just can't right now. Ekasi's CT-sided setup is just so good. And really, you can't expect 2 of your players to carry your whole game. Doobie and Badger are really the worst 2 in the server, but their Ekasi teamwork, 3 of their players just working together seamlessly right now. DMS, Gemini, and Lichlord carrying this one hard at the moment. Bringing them back into contention. 19-11 in favor of Royalty. They did it really well on their CT side. But now's the time that you need to have the plays to close out the map. Full buy from Royalty. Little skimp on the util. Full buy from Ekasi. Also, little skimp on Badger, but everybody else with decent utility. Doesn't mean that they're going to be able to stop any of the early round shenanigans. Another smoke wall outside from Royalty. Means that they can look to push here. DB gets clipped by a Gemini on the way across. But it's, once again, it's a ruse. They're looking to push the B area. But it's almost strange because I just can't help but feel it would be better if you're pulling people towards secret and B to actually rather go in the favor of A. But they do get a kill on who else as they go in. Badger trades Leggy. And they do manage to go down here into the B area. And really, there's only one man in Vents, actually, from the CT. So now Royalty can get a good spread. Ekasi have realized exactly where and what and who and why. But can they pull off the retake? And Juby is going to make it hard for them out getting the first kill. Lichlord does trade him out. Let's see if he can get more over here. He does push in and he get another one, but then God's Not Dead is on the angle and trades him out. Donkey gets one as the smoke plumes. Donkey gets another one. And that's what Royalty needs. Now they go up 12-9. And they do it with 2 players coming through the round. It's not ideal though. With that loss bonus, they still sort of broke. They're gonna force. I mean, it's really their only option, but it's gonna be Galil's 3 AKs and a complete bottoming out pretty much of their economic standpoint. And Kasi have to save though, so there should be 2 on the trot for Royalty. Unless we can see some 50 cal dental happening. Who else gets one? They push through lobby area and they secure that AK. Royalty realizing that they're all in that area, so secret is open. Just got to watch out for vents as we cross, hey lads. So do have a look at them. But see the man in position is Lichlord. He gets taken by G&D, does get out some damage. Major forced to go back. Who else does manage to get a kill as he's on the bomb side? He's actually up here behind Silo. He's making their lives quite difficult, but he gets taken down by Yixi. And now Gemini and Badger. Badger's actually in a really good position. Oh, he almost gets EXE, but then Leggy just says, no, sorry, bros. We want this map. 13-9. 3 of them getting through the round. Economy, not the strongest. Ekasi, equally economically strained. They're going to do one more save. Terrorists do go with a timeout. I actually really like this timeout for 2 reasons. 1, they can recount what they did and what worked. And 2, it just disrupts the flow of Ekasi. Royalty now back in the swing of things. Their warm-up time seems to be done with. 13-9. As we go into round 23. Ekasi, if they can pull off an eco here, it would be fantastic for them. Royalty is looking to get their 3rd of the half. They're going to do so by looking outside once again. DMS is here by Red Container. Who else gets a nice shot onto Doobie to take him out on the flank? He was really just there for information, all things considered. DMS gets hit right on the edge of the smoke. EXE put low though on 6 HP. It is a 4v4. There's only one gun really on the side of Ekasi. They've got to be careful as they push here. The man close vents. He tries to peek out, but God's Not Dead is ready. Hits him with the running gun. Drive by Grove Street style. Now they're able to get some more presence onto the side. There's 2 CTs close here. One of them does get taken down. That means it's just Lichlord in a 1-on-3. EXE needs to be careful. He's very low. He shouldn't be peeking out there. Getting the info is good enough. Lichlord is going to push out, but G&D is going to be waiting. because of that info, he puts himself in the second place on their scoreboard, 24 for 13. And most importantly, though, for Royalty, that is 3 in a row, putting them at 49. One more round loss from Ekasi, and then they're on the cusp of being kicked out. They do have a full buy, though, which will help them out a lot. Org, 3 M4s and an AWP. Little skimp on the util. Full util and full AK AWP setup from Royalty. And Doobie's already pushed up into now. They're not going to know this. He gets a first kill. He gets a second kill onto Lichlord. That's really good going from Doobie. Sets them up for this round one, 100%. Badger in the heaven position isn't going to be able to peek. God's Not Dead gets another one. Badger does get a kill outside. Puts it back into a 2-on-4. But Royalty, I mean, unless they completely fumble this, there's no reason they aren't walking away with their 15th round. And it'll just go so wrong for Ekasi. And they had such good momentum to start with, 5 rounds in a row. And now it's looking like a 4 in a row for Royalty. Badger and DMS are going to have to save. They can't. They just don't have the money. If they want to be able to contest this last round, it would be foolish for them to push in. So they're going to jam it out. And there's some potential of exit frags here. No DMS. You don't want to go down after time. It means you've got even less money to work with. And that's like the writing's on the wall. Unless Ekasi can do something miraculous, it seems Royalty have picked up this best of 3-2-1. EXE and G&D doing huge work for their team once again. They are going to go with an outside play. It is going to net them 2 kills in the form of DMS and Badger going down to DMS, or going down to Doobie and Donkey, at least. Triple D, if you will. And EXE gets another one onto Gemini. This is just looking super bleak for Ekasi. They're going to transition it into a topside play, which is the smart move. And now it's just who else in Lichlord in a 2-on-5. Doobie is low, but it's really difficult retake here. Even if they do get the easy kills, there's people in positions to trade and other players with full HP. They're going to start running in. Lichlord does get one. He flicks around. He does get a second, but then Doobie is on top of him. Those trades coming through. And now it's just who else from the heaven position, and EXE is going to take his head off, which means that Royalty win the best of 3 and stay in the EGL 1 tournament. And unfortunately, Ekasi is now knocked out of this tournament. A really good run from Ekasi and showing their prowess on train. They dominated pretty much every train map that they went on, but that is not the tale of the win today. The tale of the winners is Royalty and literally the combination of EXE and G&D. Those two guys put in huge work tonight for their team and pulled off quite a miraculous win. That is a lower bracket round 2, or the end of the lower bracket for this week. And next week we will be having more upper bracket games. We'll be looking at the 2 upper bracket, or the upper bracket semi-final, from what I remember, quarterfinal at least. So that should be a game of titans next week. It's all the usual faces, the DNMKs, GGs, and ATKs of the world, who are going to be tussling it out in our winners bracket next week. So a big congratulations to Royalty for tonight, though. Very unlucky to Ekasi, and thank you all. And a big thanks to you all for staying here and watching with us. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this evening, sponsored by Evesports and Intel, the EGL 1 2020 lower bracket round 2, culmination of that. Thank you all so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit us up with a like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you all on the flip side.